He is still in possession of that firearm.
He is considered armed and dangerous, that Rockdale County inmate. He fled a Grady Hospital mental health evaluation and has been on the run now for 2 days. And we've just talked to police. We have new information this noon.
52-year-old Timothy Shane has a history of escapes, and he has proven to be elusive to law enforcement as they search for the man that fled Grady and is now believed to have stolen a gun and at least 2 cars. After abandoning the second car to Henry County Publix, Shane hopped into an Uber.
That Uber did take him to a residence in South Rockdale County. The Rockdale County Sheriff's Office executed a search warrant at that residence, but inmate Shane was not located.
Rockdale County Sheriff's Lieutenant Billy Burrell says Shane is a white male, 5'9" with a buzz cut. He is considered armed and dangerous. If you spot him, call 911. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
It's going to be cloudy and breezy throughout the rest of the day, only in the highs of around 48, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Windy, some of those winds gusting up to 20 miles an hour and below freezing tonight. We'll have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast coming up at 12:05. And as that cold weather moves back into the area, the city of Atlanta is opening up some warming centers tonight. One's located at Central Park, the Recreation Center on Marist Avenue. A second one will open at Old Adamsville Recreation Center on Delmar Lane, and then they're going to open from 8 tonight until 6 a.m. tomorrow. Transportation will be provided from the Gateway Center if you need help to get there. The GBI is investigating a deadly officer-involved shooting in Bartow County. Sheriff's deputies in the State Fire Marshal's office executed a search warrant at a home in Cartersville and a death investigation. 39-year-old Dylan Burrell Rice refused to come out of that home, and law enforcement deployed flashbangs into the home. He then came out. He came out a back door holding what appeared to be a shotgun or rifle. When he pointed that at the deputies, he was shot and killed. Investigators later determined that the gun Rice was holding was a pellet air rifle. No deputies were injured in that incident. Governor Kemp and several Georgia business leaders are on their way to Panama to tour the Panama Canal.
It's a vital part of business for many Georgia companies. Governor Kemp says the Panama Canal directly connects many of the state's top business partners to the ports of Savannah and Brunswick. He's touring the canal along with First Lady Marty Kemp and representatives from the Georgia Ports Authority and Georgia Department of Economic Development. While there, they'll be looking at the canal's logistics infrastructure and supply chain operations. Economic Development Commissioner Pat Wilson says the state's connection with the canal fuels investment, supports jobs, and keeps the state competitive. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
All right, this is new here at noon. A state Senate committee looking into the affordability of higher education here in Georgia finds the state needs more options for needs-based financial aid to help students achieve their goals. State Senator Nan Orrock is chair of the committee, and she tells us,
we know we've invested heavily in the Hope Scholarship. And we know now that with the economy and the realities, that does not even get the job done.
The committee finalized their report, which details the problems some students face with affording college. A report released earlier this year finds that Georgia has the second highest average student loan debt in the nation. The Publix grocery store at Atlantic Station is going to be closing its doors after nearly 20 years in business. The supermarket had been a tenant since the opening of that mixed-use development in 2005. Store employees were told the last day of business will be December 27th. The company will continue to operate 3 other locations nearby. The World Health Organization now recommending GLP-1 drugs like Zepbound and Wegovy be used as a tool to manage obesity. The new guidelines in the medical journal JAMA, the WHO saying obesity should be viewed as a complex, preventable, and treatable chronic disease. Well, many small businesses use block payment options like Square or Cash App, and new data today shows that Metro Atlantans were shopping over the long holiday. The company that owns those payment options like Square and Cash App finds Atlanta outpaced the rest of the country, in fact, in spending from Black Friday to Cyber Monday.
Over the total weekend, we drove $57 million in spending in Atlanta. And Midtown Atlanta was the specific hotspot where we saw Cash App users really coming out to shop with Square sellers.
And that is Block's Allison Meyer. She tells me that most people were spending on things like beauty, health and fitness, dining, and travel. And Prada buys Versace for almost $1.4 billion. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is in positive territory. NASDAQ also up almost 0.5%, and the S&P is also in the green. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Still seeing some brake lights on 285 around the airport, Sabrina. That crash, car ran off the roadway. Looks like it's on the left shoulder. No lanes are blocked right now, but still slow associated with it. 285 eastbound, the outer loop trying to ramp onto I-75 south there in Clayton County. And up in the northwest part of town, we have a new crash, 75 southbound, right on that bridge over Lake Allatoona before you get down to Allatoona Gateway. That's slowing the ride back up toward Emerson. And on 75, 85 southbound, you're tapping the brakes through Midtown from 17th Street down past Georgia Tech. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's time now for Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast, sponsored by Shoemate, the official plumber of Atlanta. Here's WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards.
The rain showers have moved out, but the cloudy skies will stay with us for the rest of today. Breezy at times, staying chilly as well, with highs in the mid to upper 40s. As the clouds thin out overnight, temperatures will drop to the low 30s. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds. Enjoy the sunshine while we have it. High 51, becoming mostly cloudy yet again on Thursday. High 49. Another round of rain showers moving in Friday morning into Friday afternoon, highs in the mid-40s. Saturday, drying out, still cloudy, high 53.
And we do have cloudy skies here in Midtown Atlanta. Our current temperature is 49 degrees. We'll have more news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Hello, America. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Let's get to the boat out of the gate. We have conflicting stories on the situation in the Caribbean with this boat strike. So let's back up. The Washington Post and the New York Times are both out with stories with anonymous sources. I first have to explain to you the anonymous sources. Your reaction, of course, is going to be to dismiss the anonymous sources. That is by design. I don't blame you either, but you have to understand, why are the sources anonymous? No, because we've got conflicting anonymous sources. We have military sources. We have U.S. officials. So in other words, you've got people inside the Pentagon bureaucracy who are enlisted, and you have politicians and bureaucrats and civilians. There's a reason they're all anonymous, both the ones who are defending Pete Hegseth and the ones who are suggesting he committed a possible war crime. You have to understand this out of the gate. Remember, several months ago, the Pentagon booted out any reporter who wasn't willing to sign a statement that would essentially allow the Pentagon to control and shape their coverage. It wasn't just the New York Times and the Washington Post of the world who walked away. Newsmax and Fox News said they want nothing to do with it. So what has been left behind inside the Pentagon are an army of essential conservative propagandists, right-wing social media influencers, and others who are there to carry water for Pete Hegseth. And none of these people are breaking news. It's the CNNs and the Fox Newses and the Wall Street Journals, the Washington Post and the New York Times that are breaking news. They don't have reporters in the building anymore, but they developed the sources, and those sources aren't allowed to talk on record. So every source has to be anonymous. The ones who are defending Pete Hegseth and the ones who are not defending Pete Hegseth, all of them have to be anonymous because they're not allowed to talk on the record to these reporters who have been booted from the Pentagon. That's why all of these stories are anonymous. It's not a gotcha. That's the explanation. You may not like it. You may want to but I'm telling you this is why, both the pro and the con. So let's start with the Washington Post story. The Washington Post story claimed that Pete Hegseth gave a kill order, said kill everybody, and ordered a second strike on a boat in the Caribbean because there were survivors. That is a war crime typically. If you have survivors who are incapacitated and unable to fight back, you're not supposed to kill them, not just under the Geneva Convention, but under federal law. A buddy of mine who was in Afghanistan said, yeah, but when we would blow up the Taliban, we would go gun down the people who were running away. Yes, true. Difference was those guys could have been armed. You're not sure. When you're holding on to debris in the ocean floating, pretty sure you're not going to get to a gun. And if you did, it's wet. Will it even work? We don't know. But that's kind of incidental because of this reason. Barack Obama and Joe Biden both fired drones into civilians. One, Barack Obama blowing up one and also killing a U.S. civilian, and Joe Biden killing people they knew were innocent civilians in Afghanistan. None of the Democrats who are upset right now, none of the reporters who are upset right now screamed war crimes when Barack Obama and Joe Biden did it. They're screaming war crimes now, and the situation's pretty murky. They're screaming war crimes because they want to paint Donald Trump in a bad light. They're trying to find ways to persuade independents that Trump's a bad guy. And they really don't care about the truth. They're also elevating Mark Kelly. I told you last week when Donald Trump came hard charging against Mark Kelly and the Pentagon and the FBI said they were going to investigate him and possibly court-martial him, that they were putting Mark Kelly on a new platform. They were elevating Mark Kelly. He was going to be a fundraising juggernaut. He would be the face of the Democratic Party. And whether you like it or not, he's way more reasonable than a lot of these they-them Democrats who are out there. Sure enough, Mark Kelly is being elevated. His stature is rising. He's going up in polling to possible 2028 candidates. He's not the guy you want to elevate. But the attacks on Kelly did this, and they've now given Kelly a bigger spotlight, and the media loves him. It was a stupid play by Hegseth to do that. And Republicans are mad at Hegseth more for that than they are this attack. So the Washington Post says Hegseth blew these people up, gave an order to kill the survivors, and that there was an admiral involved, and the admiral, you should know, is a highly respected admiral. The admiral involved is Admiral Frank Bradley. He's in charge of special operators, particularly SEAL Team 6, highly respected by Democrats and Republicans on Capitol Hill. And the Washington Post seems to suggest that he and Hegseth did this. Well, now the New York Times has a story. Notice again, it is the newsmakers who refuse to stay in the Pentagon and just carry water for Hegseth who are breaking news. The Washington Post is essentially throwing Hegseth and Bradley under the bus. The New York Times is defending Hegseth and Bradley, putting them in a different light. Let me read you this. According to 5 U.S. officials, notice they're not saying service members, members of the military, anything like that. 5 U.S. officials who spoke separately and on the condition of anonymity to discuss a sensitive matter that is under investigation. Remember, they're not allowed to talk on record because the New York Times refused to sign the Hegseth deal. But these 5 U.S. officials who are anonymous say Mr. Hegseth, ahead of the September 2nd attack, ordered a strike that would kill the people on the boat and destroy the vessel and its purported cargo of drugs. But, each official said, Mr. Hegseth's directive did not specifically address what should happen if a first missile turned out not to fully accomplish all those things. And the officials said his order was not a response to surveillance footage showing that at least 2 people on the boat survived the first blast. Admiral Bradley ordered the initial missile strike and then several follow-up strikes that killed the initial survivors and sank the disabled boat. As that operation unfolded, they said Mr. Hegseth did not give any further orders to him. The officials clarified the sequence of events amid the political and legal uproar that had followed a report in the Washington Post last week. It said that Admiral Bradley ordered the second strike to fulfill a directive by Mr. Hegseth to kill everyone. Now, this still sounds a little bit like they're throwing Admiral Bradley under the bus until you get to this paragraph. 2 officials questioned whether the surviving people were Admiral Bradley's intended target in the second strike, as opposed to the purported drugs and the disabled vessel. They argued that the purported cargo remained a threat and a lawful military target because another cartel-associated boat might have come to retrieve it. In other words, Washington Post says Hegseth and Bradley committed a war crime. New York Times, with 5 separate sources, says, no, the order was not to do the second strike. The order was to make sure that the boat sank. And the second strike was to make sure the boat sank and the individuals were collateral damage. Now, again, first of all, we have to note that all the people who were very upset about blowing up narco-terrorists in the Caribbean were perfectly fine with Joe Biden and with Barack Obama killing innocent civilians, including an American, with drones and no due process. Very, very, very important that you understand this, That's how you know this is a political issue. It's not a policy issue. The consistency is out the window. Second, it's important to note that the Pentagon bureaucracy and the White House are relying on a bunch of reporters who are not allowed in the Pentagon in order to get their story told. They're not relying on OAN. They're not relying on these conservative propaganda outlets that are inside the Pentagon to tell their story. They're not relying on any of them. They're going to the New York Times and they're going to the Washington Post to litigate these issues. They're going to the New York Post, for example, with the FBI. The FBI, Miranda Devine, who has been treated very, very favorably in the past by Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, and others, and cited frequently by them, is now being attacked by them for her reporting that something's wrong at the FBI. Now, you should note that if they're willing to praise reporting in the past and now they're attacking that reporter, it's probably because she's onto something that they don't particularly like, and it's not a matter of her going after them, but telling the truth that they don't like, that they're suddenly turning on her. The FBI has some problems. Now, clearly, there is a brood of vipers in the FBI, but there seem to be issues there. Here, there seem to be issues in the Pentagon, with some of them not liking Pete Hegseth and wanting to throw him overboard, but a real concerted effort to rehabilitate the story in his image so that he can't be accused of war crimes. That's very notable that they went to the New York Times, again, not allowed in the building, to do this. So where does this go? Congress is going to have to ask questions. I want you to listen to the commentary, though, from the left. This is from MSNBC. This is Morton Halperin on MSNBC. Well, it would be Morton Halperin, except I messed up my tracking here. So Halperin was essentially saying it's a violation of international law, That's his point.
It depends on whether the order was to destroy the boat or whether it was to kill everybody who was on the boat. I think both are illegal, but if it was a deliberate attempt to kill people who clearly could not pose any threat, who were just hanging on for their lives on the side of the boat, there's no question in anybody's mind, in my view, that that's a violation of international law.
Who the hell cares about international law, in all honesty? We're not bound by international law. We're bound by American law. And when you go on MSNBC and you start belly aching about international law, why should any of us care? Now, over at CNN and the Abby Phillips show that I hate, you got, what's her name, Moynihan from the New York Post makes a point.
Yeah, well, one thing I would note is every lawmaker you played started their thought by saying, if this is true. And the fact of the matter is there is a lot in dispute tonight. We don't know the answers to everything. And Batya raised an important point that there is a difference between disabling a boat and destroying it. If it was only disabled under the laws of war, actually, they would have potentially been able to make that a mission a military target. But I think a couple important points to make here more generally is, it's interesting to hear the media talking about this breathlessly for hours and hours when, Biden or Obama drone striked. The only thing that needed to happen was John Kirby would go on TV and say, we made a mistake. We're learning from it. And nobody batted an eye. And yet now this has become the biggest story,
It's actually not true that no one batted an eye at Obama's.
Oh, yes, it is, and you know it is. She always plays defense for the Democrats. So here are the Republican leaders. This is John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader.
Find out what happened when and what orders were given. I think all the particulars, you want to know what the facts are, and then you want to compare that with the relevant and figure out, procedurally, what's the the correct lawful way to do things, and determine whether or not that everything was followed.
Now, the man who matters most is Roger Wicker from Mississippi, the senator from Mississippi. He's deeply influential. He has the presence here, and he's not a fan of Hegseth.
Were there survivors who were killed in that second attack?
I don't have that information.
Do you worry?
But I do think we'll get that information, and we're certainly going to have available to us all of the audio and all of the video. And at that point, I'll be able to have a more informed conversation. conversation with the press.
Do you worry it could be a war crime if the survivors are killed?
We're going to find out what the true facts are, and then there'll be a determination about that.
We're going to find out the true facts, and that's the larger point here, is we don't know all the facts here. There are certainly people in the Pentagon who have grave concerns about what's happening. They're leaking to the Washington Post. They're putting Hegseth and Admiral Bradley in a bad light. But there are a lot of people inside the Pentagon and the White House who are circling the wagons around both gentlemen, saying that, no, the story's being distorted. And we saw with the president's first impeachment how members of the bureaucracy within the intelligence community and the defense establishment were willing to shade the truth in order to get Trump impeached. What you do need to understand, though, is that there's a lot of bad blood building between the Senate and the Pentagon leadership. The Senate Republicans are unhappy with those around Hegseth and their unwillingness to be forthcoming. And so there is going to be an investigation, and those tough questions will be asked. But Mark Kelly's becoming the face of this for the Democrats. And the Republicans should have never, ever, ever elevated his profile with the attacks on him that they did, because he comes across as far more reasonable than other Democrats who could have been the face of this operation attacking the Trump administration.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1221 Cool Ray Carrier Traffic Center. Brake lights on the west side perimeter. 285 southbound slows before Hollowell Parkway trying to get down to I-20, the West Freeway there. If you're traveling 7585 southbound, that's a little sluggish through Midtown and downtown from 17th Street down toward Cortlandt Street. And earlier trouble up in Bartow County cleared 75 southbound on the bridge over Lake Allatoona. Traffic brought to you by ChumbaCasino.com. With over 100 online casino-style games, Chumba Casino is your destination for nonstop entertainment. No purchase necessary. VGW Group, void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 21+. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Clark Howard here, and each year we set a goal to provide gifts for every child in foster care across the state of Georgia, and we can't do it without you. Join me at 3 different Walmarts across Metro Atlanta December 7th, 13th, and 14th for our 35th annual Clark's Christmas Kids. Help make Georgia foster kids' Christmas wishes come true. For more information about how you can donate and for Walmart store locations, visit WSBRadio.com.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers. If you think you have a problem, we all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response, they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now while you still have options.
Hi, I'm Daniel Jape, owner of Jape Services. At Jape Services, we believe your home should always be a place of warmth, safety, and comfort. But for some families and local organizations facing tough times, that warmth can be hard to find. That's why we're giving away 2 free brand new Trane furnaces, complete installation, through our Do What's Right Gift of Heat Furnace giveaway. Nominate someone or a charity by Friday, December 5th at japeservices.com.
Curb Appeal. It's not a competition. Maybe it is. When you want your home's exterior to look dazzling, trust the Plus. Painting Plus.
Hi, it's Charlie, owner of Painting Plus. See pictures of the dazzling exteriors we've crafted for your neighbors. Just go to our website and click recent projects.
Locally owned Painting Plus. The plus means anything and everything exteriors at the highest quality. Your complete exterior solution.
Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
Hi, this is Lee.
And this is Brent. Lee Brent Jewelry and Watch Company is making Christmas better than ever with a sale of 5 to 50% off all in-store jewelry.
Lee Brent has a large selection of gold, diamonds, emeralds, rubies, and sapphires up to 50% off. Even Rolex watches are on sale at 5% off.
And remember, Lee Brent services Rolex in their store by their Rolex-trained watchmaker. And your watch never leaves the store, located in Sandy Springs in the Trader Joe's Plaza, or visit LeeBrent.com.
It started with a vision. A brighter kitchen, a backyard oasis, maybe even that art studio you've always dreamed of. At Georgia United Credit Union, we know your home is more than just walls and a roof. It's your canvas. With a home equity line of credit, you can bring those dreams to life, remodel, refresh, reimagine. Your possibilities are just beginning. Visit dreams.gucu.org today. Georgia United is an equal housing lender.
Hey folks, Dave Baker here with a quick tip. When it comes to garage doors, longevity matters. Overhead Door Company of Atlanta has been serving Atlanta homeowners since 1935. That's 90 years of doing it right, day after day, door after door. Sure, new companies pop up claiming to be number one, but for real trust and experience, there's only one original overhead door, the one with the red ribbon on the trucks. Longevity matters. Quality matters. Call 404-USA-DOOR or visit overheaddooratlanta.com.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Greetings, conversationalists. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Those of you listening in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District, go vote. We'll discuss a little more in depth that race in the next hour, as Republicans are seriously freaking out about the about that race. Just very interesting dynamics there. I'll take your phone calls here when we come back. Got a short segment here. I do want to note, however, right now, Costco is suing the Trump administration over the tariffs. Why? Because there is a deadline under federal law in which you can sue. And even though the Supreme Court won't render a verdict on the tariffs, Costco had to get its lawsuit filed looking for a full refund of all the duties because the IEEPA, International Emergency Executive, I can't remember the name of it, doesn't authorize the president to set the tariffs. They want the money back, and this is the latest of multiple lawsuits being filed by corporate America against the Trump administration over those tariffs. And again, they have to file their lawsuit based on statutory framework, even though the Supreme Court hasn't rendered its verdict yet. So Costco fighting back to get money back. I thought foreigners were paying this stuff. Apparently not. Swiss America has been warning people about a secret war on cash for some time. The government's trying to steer you to use plastic so they can monitor your purchases. They do not like it when you use cash. They don't like it when you use crypto. Swiss America wants to give you their report, The Secret War on Cash, completely free. All you have to do is call or text 800-289-2646. The All Out War on Cash does include digital forms of currency. Just text my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. You can also call and say Eric sent me. They're happy to help. 800-289-2646. You can also go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric. That's SwissAmerica.com/ERICK. Swiss America will get you their report on the Secret War on Cash completely free. 800-289-2646. Text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, or call them and say Eric sent me. 800-289-2646. Message and data rates may apply.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic,
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. Still no sign of a Rockdale County inmate on the run for 2 days now. 52-year-old Timothy Shane escaped while at Grady for a mental evaluation. Rockdale County Sheriff Lieutenant Billy Burrell telling us today he has a history of fleeing.
He was in custody for fleeing from Conyers police as well as reckless driving.
Now, police say he has stolen 2 cars, taking a gun from one of them, and even called an Uber in Henry County. He is considered armed and dangerous. Anybody with information being asked to call police. He's a 52-year-old white man with a buzz cut, last seen wearing dark pants and a red hoodie. You can see him at WSBRadio.com. All right, your weather for today. Cloudy and breezy. Afternoon highs 48 and below freezing tonight, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. A project to boost green space along the Chattahoochee River is getting another boost. The Trust for Public Land says that they finalized the acquisition of more than 70 acres to expand Campbellton Park into Chattahoochee Hills. Trust for Public Land State Director George Doonesbury telling WSB it's part of their Riverlands project.
It's another step forward in terms of creating that 100-mile park through the heart of the 6th largest metropolitan region in the country.
Now, the expansion will provide access to more than a half mile of riverfront. The $2.5 million project was made possible with the Georgia Outdoor Stewardship program grant. And we told you earlier about changes at the CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. The panel will meet later this week, and they may decide to stop giving all babies the hepatitis B vaccine within 24 hours of birth. Critics say that shot is no longer necessary after a 99% drop in childhood infections since 1991. The committee might also take a closer look at possible links between vaccines and chronic diseases. We will be watching. And a doctor is raising awareness about allergies that could be related to your Christmas tree. Dr. Devin Preston with the Cleveland Clinic.
There's weed pollen, mold, critters that are in trees. So when you bring that into the home, unless you fully shake it out, wash it off, clean it, then you have the high potential to release mold and other pollens into your home.
Now, Dr. Preston says running an air purifier near your tree can help. He recommends taking that tree down after the season's over as quickly as possible because leaving it up too long will give more time for mold to grow. It's 12:32.
Hey folks, it's Scott Slade with another great tip from my friends at Myland, Atlanta's local experts for home loans. So many people have credit card balances they don't pay off every month, which makes holidays more stressful than they could be or should be. The guys at Myland say a great product to use to reduce the amount you pay is a home equity line of credit, or HELOC. This allows you to use the equity in your home to pay off high-interest credit card debt without touching your first mortgage. HELOCs are typically easier and faster to close than a full mortgage, so you can expect to get cash much faster. Whether you want to pay off debts or handle large expenses, HELOCs can be a great tool to use. To find out if one is right for you, call Myland at 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Or online at myland.com. Spell it M-I-L-E-N-D. And please tell them I sent you. NMLS and Georgia Residential Mortgage License C148769, located at 8995 Westside Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. Myland is an equal housing lender.
Spend your time with those who matter most this holiday season and sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There's no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Whether it's a walk-in closet, master closet, or pantry, unlock the true potential of your storage areas in time for the holidays. Schedule your free design consultation today at artisancustomclosets.com and reward yourself with affordable luxury this holiday season.
All right, Alex Williams, how are we doing on the roads?
Looking for new trouble right now. Sabrina, 85 southbound, right at 17th Street. Delays stacking up behind that toward Georgia 400. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Cloudy, breezy, chilly with some areas of drizzle through the afternoon. High 48. Lows tonight in the low 30s.
We'll have more news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
Hello, America. It is Eric Erickson. I'm delighted to have you. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to call in, that's 877-97-ERIC, E-R-I-C-K. You can also text ERIC, E-R-I-C-K, to the number 33777. You'll get the live stream. You'll get the show notes, the podcast, the 4 things you need to know in the afternoon, everything you need to stay in touch. Right now, I want to reach out and talk to Dwayne Collin. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me on. So the question I want you to answer, all right? So when it first came up and they were talking about the soldiers don't obey illegal orders, right? Mm-hmm. And as you work through, you decide, okay, the orders are vetted before they get them because the soldiers are not constitutional lawyers. You trust that the order has been legally vetted. So when Hegseth is in the Pentagon and he says, hit him a second time, isn't there a lawyer standing there saying, you can't do that? So right? So how could you presume that he's wrong?
So and again, this is the Washington Post reporting. So you got to keep that in mind. But from what they said, the lawyers were not involved in the giving of the second order. They were involved in the first order, and then Hegseth went around them for the second order. That's what the allegation is. Now, again, though, the New York Times, and I can't emphasize that enough, the New York Times says the Washington Post reporting is missing the story here, that the Hegseth did not actually say kill everybody. He said sink the ship. The ship was not sunk, so the second missile was to sink the ship, and the people died as collateral damage, which isn't a war crime or anything like that. So, yeah, the lawyers are supposed to be involved here, and the allegation is that he essentially bypassed the lawyers, but I can't help but note the New York Times says it's not exactly the case. This is why we have one of the reasons we have Congress. Congress sometimes forgets they're necessary, but asking questions and having these sorts of investigations is kind of incumbent on the United States Congress, and so we're going to have to let the Congress start looking at this sort of stuff and asking some very tough questions about what actually went on. Now, I'm going to get to the Tennessee special election today because that's actually going to matter a lot, regardless of how it goes. It's going to matter greatly, and it's going to affect this investigation. I'll explain why. But before I get there, we do have the special election, Tennessee 7 today. It's just to the west of Nashville. It's the Daily Wire, for example, has their headquarters inside this district. It's a conservative district. Republicans tend to do about 10 points better than Democrats. Trump does about 22 points better. He's not on the ballot, though. It should be a 10-point race. Emerson College released polling right before Thanksgiving that had it a 2-point race, but it was a weekend poll. So not the best work by Emerson College, although they're a respected pollster. It shouldn't be a close race, though. It matters because the Democrats are highly motivated right now. Republicans are enthusiastic, but Democrats are motivated, and motivation matters more than enthusiasm because motivation is what is going to get you to go vote. Republicans love what's going on right now. They love that Donald Trump is making heads explode. They love it, but doesn't do much good if, well, the Democrats show up in greater numbers. And the Democrats are more and more openly talking about a reconstruction project. I saw, and I'm not going to play the audio because there was some profanity in it, but George Conway was doing one of his Bulwark conversations, and he said, we've got to have reconstruction in this country. Now, reconstruction is a loaded term that comes from after the Civil War of how do you reintegrate Confederates who had engaged in the Civil War. How do you reintegrate them into the United States? And the Reconstruction process was the rebuilding of the South after the war and the reintegration of secessionists back into the Union. They know what they're doing on this. And if you search progressives and Reconstruction, you get a lot of new articles that have come out in the past year about what are we going to do, not with Trump, but with Trump voters. What are we going to do? They want a reconciliation, and they want a reconstruction. They want to bring these people back into the fold, but who are they bringing into what? Think about this. Donald Trump won the popular vote in 2024. So the arrogance of progressives to say we need reconstruction, and their argument is that we have to reconstruct the institutions of government in ways that they can't be torn down again. What's really going on here, let's go to the Hegseth boat sinking. None of these people were concerned about Barack Obama and drone strikes. None of these people were concerned about Joe Biden and drone strikes. None of them were screaming war crimes against things that could be war crimes. Knowingly killing civilians and an American citizen without due process, not arresting him, blowing him up. He was an American citizen. None of them cared. The point here is that they don't really want reconciliation and they don't want reconstruction. They want the power that Donald Trump has. They just don't like it that others can use it against them. They're okay with the abuse. They just want to be the abuser. They were fine. There's a case actually before the United States Supreme Court today. New Jersey started investigating a crisis pregnancy center that didn't perform abortions. They demanded a list of the donors of the organization. The organization fought back. Clarence Thomas in the Supreme Court this morning was able to get New Jersey, the state of New Jersey, to admit they had no probable cause. No one complained. But New Jersey decided they needed to see the donors. New Jersey decided they needed to find out who was funding this organization so they can harass them. The Democrats want that power. They just don't like that Donald Trump is doing it to them. The Democrats are fine with drone strikes and missile strikes that kill innocent people so long as they're the ones whose fingers on the trigger because their motives are pure. And now they're talking about reconstruction. What they want is to find a way to rebuild institutions and preclude Trump supporters from participating in democracy for as long as they can. That's what this is about. See, when you listen to Democrats, what do you hear? When they explain away 2024, what do you hear? The message. They got the message wrong. It's never the issues. It's always the message. They got the message wrong. It's never their positions. It's the message. They don't believe they're wrong. They just believe they have to talk about their issues differently. Like, for example, transgenderism. They don't believe they're wrong on the issue. They just believe we need to stop talking about it so people don't appreciate that we believe it. The Democrats want to find a way to keep you and me from participating in government because we don't vote the right way. They want to shut you out of governance in the country because they don't want you to have the power. Notice. So you got George Conway saying essentially we need to take back power and then we need to pass laws that will withstand constitutional scrutiny from the Supreme Court to ensure that this sort of stuff can't happen again. But notice they don't want to do it now. They don't want to work with Republicans because there are a lot of Republicans who would be willing to help them pass the laws to restrain the president. There are plenty of Republicans out there who want to restrain the executive. And in fact, You talk to a lot of people in this presidential administration, they say one of the things he's doing is pushing the bounds of the office in a way that protects conservatives. So when the Supreme Court says you can't do that, when a Democrat becomes president, they're not going to be able to push the boundary at all and target conservatives. They are essentially begging the Supreme Court to restrain their power, and the Supreme Court is obliging in some cases. Look at the Federal Reserve situation. People, by the way, as an aside, I think this is one of the most unmissed parts of the Trump strategy. I don't think people appreciate one of the things Donald Trump is doing in this regard, and I know they're doing it because they've been very open and candid with some of us that this is one of the strategies. Whether it's Donald Trump or the people around him doesn't really matter because it's the Trump administration doing it. They are in certain ways pushing the boundaries of the presidency in ways that protect conservatives. They're targeting the left. And the left is now suing to restrain those powers. And the left is, in many cases, winning those cases so that when the left gets back into power, they're not going to be able to do to the right what Donald Trump is doing to them. They are essentially firewalling the powers of the presidency or barricading the president's powers, restraining the president's powers. The left doesn't even know they're playing into it. The left is so excited to be getting these court wins, and there are people inside the Trump administration like, yes, sue us, sue us. We're going to keep hitting you until you sue us, and the court tells us to stop. And then when the court tells us to stop, the judicial decision will be rendered in such a way you're not going to be able to do it to us. You won't be able to sue the nuns anymore. You won't be able to target the crisis pregnancy centers anymore. You won't be able to target the Christians. You won't be able to target the private schools. You won't be able to target the small businesses. You're not going to be able to do the things that we're doing to you because you're suing us and the judges are telling us Trump bad. Stop. And that's okay because you're now restraining the president. And no one seems to understand that this actually is part of the strategy. It's uncomfortable at times, but I don't know that Donald Trump knows it's part of the strategy, but the people advising the president, I know it's part of the strategy because they've told me it's part of the strategy. And the left wants this reconstruction because one of the things they're mad about is Trump is building these restraints on power in ways that the left's not going to have power when they get back into office. I would say it does behoove Republican members of Congress to go on now and start passing legislation to restrain the powers of the presidency. Work with the left. You got perfect buy-in now. They want laws to restrain the presidency. We all should want the presidency restrained, so go on and do it now. Go on and say, whoa, we're going to stop this. We're going to stop it. Trump's going to sign the legislation. We're going to bind future presidents. Go on and do this. Did you notice Democrats aren't buying into this? They don't want to do it right. They want to do it when they're interested. They don't want to work with Republicans on it right now because they want to find a way to rebuild the nation post-Trump in ways that exclude Trump supporters because they don't ever want to lose to Donald Trump again. They don't want to be, they never want to lose to anyone like Trump. They don't want to lose to a Republican, period. It's all about power for them. Pay attention to this. You're going to hear this more and more as the left openly begins to talk about reconstruction in a post-Trump America, reconstruction. I can be very candid with you. Let me tell you what I think is going to happen. I'm willing to be wrong. I'm throwing it out there right now, a year in advance. I think the Democrats are going to have a good midterm. I think they are. I think Matt Van Epps is going to win today, but it's going to be closer than Republicans won, and that's going to show Democrats are fired up heading into next year. What Republicans are going to have to do to mitigate the damage is you're going to have to attack the Democrats as being too far left, and that might work. But I think generally we're probably going to see Hakeem Jeffries become Speaker of the House at the end of next year. And I think the Democrats are going to decide they have to do nothing now. I think they're going to decide that 2024 was an anomaly and they don't have to fix anything. They'll be fine, and they'll get into 2028 being as far left and wackadoo as ever, thinking that everyone actually agrees with them. Look at the midterms. And a Vance, a Rubio, a Brian Kemp, a Republican is going to get elected president of the United States in 28 because the Democrats will have overplayed their hand and never realized they actually do need to fix their problems. People want safeguards against Trump, so they give the Democrats the House, maybe the Senate, most likely just the House next year. But that doesn't mean they want the Democrats. They just want Trump slowed down. And the Democrats will misinterpret that as a complete rejection of Trump and an embrace of them, and that's not so. And they'll head into 2028 as white and woke as ever, to their detriment. In the meantime, Republicans, do whatever you can to restrain the power of the presidency with Donald Trump's consent. Get legislation passed to constrain the presidency before the Democrats do eventually get back into the White House, or there will be hell to pay because these people are insane.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1250 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB Traffic Center. All lanes just blocked and reopened in Midtown. 85 southbound, right at 17th Street, below that Peachtree Street overpass. Got a crash off to the right, so the delays on 85 south into town should start to improve. It's a left lane stall on the west side perimeter that's got you jammed up. 285 southbound, the outer loop at I-20 exit 10. Delays start before Hollowell Parkway. Traffic brought to you by BathFitter.com, the leader in bathroom innovation with the exclusive BathFitter PermaFit solution. Your new tub or shower is built to fit perfectly and guaranteed for life. Visit bathfitter.com to get started today. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
We've all been
Jam
there.
starting at Langford Parkway.
Counting the minutes before we know we're going to be late because we couldn't count on a traffic app.
Jammed from I-85 down towards Ponce.
There is one thing you can count on. Triple team traffic on WSB.
Stay slow once you're inside the perimeter as well.
We know the highways. We know the streets. And we know the shortcuts.
75 northbound heading up to Cobb County through Marietta and Kennesaw.
And all you need to do is listen.
More experience.
More reliable. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Triple team traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
It's time to start thinking about Christmas gifts. If you haven't already, some of you type A people have already taken care of this. Most of us, we're thinking about it now. Can I recommend omahasteaks.com? I've been given Omaha Steaks as great gifts. I've gotten it as gifts. It always makes me happy to get it as a gift. It'll make your friends and family happy to get it as a gift. And right now at omahasteaks.com, their cyber sale, you get 50% off site-wide, an extra 20% off select favorites. And then in time for the best deals of the season, you use promo code ERIC, E-R-I-C-K, you get an extra $35 off already incredible savings. omahasteaks.com, $35 off with promo code ERIC, E-R-I-C-K. Terms apply. See site for details. Wonderful opportunity for you to make people smile. Omaha Steaks has been making people smile since 1917. Go check them out today. omahasteaks.com, 50% off site-wide, 20% off select favorites. Use ERIC, E-R-I-C-K, as your promo code to checkout for an extra $35 off.
It's a small change, but a meaningful one. North Georgia Replacement Windows is now NG Windows.
It's Jonathan and Ted. For over 2 decades, our website has been ngwindows.com. Now our name is the same.
Shorter name, same windows. Energy efficient, durable, 8 times stronger than vinyl.
Experience the Infinity by Marvin fiberglass difference in your home or our Alpharetta showroom.
Infinity by Marvin from NG Windows, yeah!
Hey guys, are you striking out in the bedroom? Because pills like Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra just don't work anymore. Here's how Choice Men's Health is solving PE and ED issues. Meet Dr. Katz, the expert in men's health.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Choice Men's Health offers safe, custom-blended medications designed to fit your needs. There is no pain or surgery. It doesn't matter how old you are or if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues. Not a problem. It's safe and affordable for everyone. You'll see results in 15 minutes guaranteed, or you don't pay anything. Solve the problem of ED and PE now.
For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are free. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. To claim your initial consultation and first treatment for free. Call Choice Men's Health now, 404-400-1170.
At Rocco's European Garage, they specialize in providing full service and repair for any Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, Land Rover, or European vehicle. Hey, it's Mark Aram here. Visit one of their 6 locations for top-notch customer service, including clear upfront pricing, your approval prior to beginning work, and a 3-day appointment window to get you back on the road quicker. Your vehicle fixed right the first time with shuttle service for more convenience, always a better value than the dealership. So do what I do and get your car serviced at Rocco's European Garage.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. On the go, take Eric's podcast with you. Available wherever you stream your favorite podcast. Search Eric Erickson.
Hello there. It is Eric Erickson. Well, you should know the President of the United States said that affordability is a fake narrative. The Democrats have seized on this. What he actually means is that we inherited, or his administration inherited, sky-high inflation. For Democrats to talk about affordability, they never cared about affordability, and suddenly they're talking about affordability. That they're just using it to target him, and we're continuing to make improvements in the country economically. Whether you agree with that or not, that's his point there. But, of course, the Democrats will take the talking point that the affordability is a fake narrative, and they'll try to crucify the president with it. I will tell you, speaking of affordability and whatnot, Michael Dell and his wife. Have you heard about this? This is impressive. Michael Dell, from Dell Computer, and his wife are donating $6.25 billion to 25 million American kids in the so-called Trump accounts. So the commitment comes with a new federal government program. It's going to allow parents to open tax-advantaged investment accounts for kids under 18. Under the program, citizens born from beginning of 2025 through 2028 receive a federal grant of $1,000 in their Trump account. And the Dells have committed to fund these accounts with $250 for children who are under the age of 10. That works out to 25 million children in zip codes with a median income of $150,000 or less. Some, you should know, on the left are attacking Michael Dell, saying, oh, this is just for a tax write-off. I don't care. Michael Dell and his wife are giving $6.25 billion with a B dollars to other Americans, a direct charitable donation, not to a foundation, but to Americans in accounts for their children that will grow interest over time so that their kids won't have to worry about Social Security when they get old. Well done. There should be a Presidential Medal of Freedom in there for that. Now, let me tell you about Vision Computers. Speaking of great resources, Vision Computers. So my son last night was working on a paper at home. He's got a PC. And it's been so long since I've used a Windows machine, let alone Windows 11. And he was trying to print on the printer, and I knew it needed to be on different Wi-Fi. And then we were having trouble getting the printer driver to load. And he called Vision. They took care of him. I mean, it really was. He was on the phone for maybe 2 minutes at most. They got him figured out. I was doing something wrong. It was my fault. They figured it out quick and took care of it. That's the sort of customer service you get from Vision Computers. You call them at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. They can build you a PC, and their world-class customer service comes with it. You can even have managed IT for your existing computer, and they'll take care of that one as well. They can even remote in, do email, printer, whatever you need. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. Give Vision Computers a call today, 404-COMPUTE, any one of you nationwide.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta.
The Cobb County Medical Examiner's Office identifies 57 sets of cremains.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
We've got it covered.
Atlanta jurors convict a former Customs and Border Protection officer.
Your 24/7 news source.
Covering the stories that impact you.
Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ziprecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ziprecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ziprecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. A man considered to be armed and dangerous continues to elude law enforcement a day after escaping from Grady Hospital.
Timothy Shane fled a mental health check at Grady, stole an SUV, and took off with valuable contraband on board.
He stole a firearm from the vehicle.
He later stole another car, drove it to Henry County, and then traveled by Uber to a house in Rockdale County. There, the trail goes cold. Rockdale Sheriff's Deputy Billy Burrell says they want to hear from you if you spot him.
If they're in Rockdale County, call 911 to get additional units to that location.
Shane is a 52-year-old white male, 5'9", with a buzz cut, possibly still wearing a red hoodie and dark pants. Graham Kale, 95.5 WSB.
Thank you, Graham. So your weather for today, cloudy and breezy. Afternoon highs only around 50, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. The FAA is looking into whether airlines complied with orders to reduce flights at 40 high-trafficked airports due to air traffic controller shortages during the government shutdown. Transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve has more.
These letters were planned, and there had been complaints by airlines who felt some other carriers were not fully adhering to the cuts when that order was in effect.
So the investigation is underway. He says the airlines could face $75,000 fine per flight that exceeded those capacity limits. Lawmakers are set to receive a classified briefing on the Trump administration's strike on Venezuelan boats. According to The Hill, Navy Admiral Frank Mitch Bradley will provide information on the controversial strikes during a briefing with senior members of the Senate and House Armed Services Committee that is set for Thursday of this week. New data today from the U.S. Census Bureau shows that fewer than half of U.S. households this year were made up of married couples. That's a big shift from 50 years ago when nearly 2/3 were. Data also showing that in 1975, more than half of married couple households included their children under the age of 18. This year, that number has fallen to 37%. A state Senate committee looking into the affordability of higher education here in Georgia finds the state needs to do a lot more for needs-based financial aid to help students achieve their goals. State Senator Nan Orrock is chair of the committee. She says they found some alarming things.
We had the highest number of students leaving the state to seek a college education because they could get financial needs met more easily. Not easily, but more easily.
And she says the Hope Scholarship is not enough now. The committee finalized their report, which details the problems some students are facing with affordable college. A report released earlier this year finds Georgia has the second highest average student loan debt in the nation. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 122 points at 47,411. NASDAQ also in the green, up almost 0.5%. The S&P also in positive territory. It's 103.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now, the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So, what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan today. 404-208-3300. That's 404-208-3300.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. See website for details.
Wall cracks, window stuck, could be a foundation problem. Mark Beckham with Atlanta Ramjack, and our estimators are thoroughly trained to get you the proper evaluation for your home. Schedule your free assessment with the foundation repair experts at atlantaramjack.com.
Hi, I'm Dylan, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As a customer service specialist, I love helping couples find their dream engagement ring. And guess what? I just got engaged, so it was fun to create one myself. First, my fiance tried on a bunch of ring styles and she was drawn to a classic diamond pave setting. Then we looked at different diamond shapes from pear to oval to cushion. She fell in love with the princess cut. At Shane Company, you can create a one-of-a-kind ring and get it in days, not weeks. Because a friend wants you to have a magical holiday proposal. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
If you're ignoring any cracked bricks or concrete cracks, you could be ignoring underlying foundation problems. You'll want to get ahead of these problems sooner rather than later. Don't wait any longer. Visit aquaguard.net today to book your free inspection. Remember,
AquaGuard.
Got a leaky pipe? Trouble with your heat or AC? Ace Hardware Home Services is around the corner with trusted pros to fix it. From plumbing to heating and cooling, we'll keep your home running smoothly all year long. Get help today at acehardwarehomeservices.com.
Hey, it's Shelley Winter. Celebrate the moments that move you with a brand new Lexus. The Lexus December to Remember sales event is on now at Butler Lexus South Atlanta. Butler Lexus South Atlanta, the standard of amazing.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Alex Williams.
Left lane stall still there, 285 southbound, the outer loop on the west side at I-20 exit 10, slowing you to before Hollowell Parkway. Elsewhere, looking for new trouble up in Kennesaw, 75 southbound around Chastain Road, seeing some brake lights really in both directions between Ackworth and Kennesaw. We'll see what's cooking up that way. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Cloudy skies, breezy and chilly today, high 48. Clearing out for tonight, lows dropping to the low 30s. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds, high 51. Mostly cloudy on Thursday, high 49.
49 degrees here in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need a public service announcement. This is very important, and I need to say this. And I need to say it lovingly, generously. I need to say this charitably. And I need to say it to men. And I need to say it to women. Y'all, lean in here. Oh, gosh. I know in your head you think you look normal. But y'all, we know you had plastic surgery, and it does not look normal. You are not aging gracefully. You're not aging. You're melting slowly over time, and it doesn't look natural. In fact, it increasingly looks unnatural in ways that will scare babies and normal people. Please stop. Fox News anchors, many of you are friends, but you need to stop this. Your cheeks keep growing like you have chipmunks hoarding acorns in them. Your eyes are becoming more and more pulled back every day. At some point, you're going to be able to see your rear end by looking forward if you keep this up. I need you to stop. Think about the transgenders among us, how you can tell it's not right. Like, that's a man baby. We say the same thing about you guys. Please stop with the plastic surgery. I am assured that there are very, very, very high quality plastic surgeons who can do things that no one will ever know. But none of you have found that plastic surgeon. They allege to exist. None of you have found them. This Mar-a-Lago face thing they're talking about now, it is not natural. Y'all know what I'm. Every single person listening to me right now knows what I'm talking about. The puckered lips that can't close, the large cheekbones that they weren't high cheekbones before. Now they're just fat cheekbones. And then you get on Ozempic and you've got all this new collagen and fat and silicone in your face. You look like you're melting, people. I'm deeply concerned about some of the people I have seen on TV lately. And you poor women who now sleep with your eyes open because you've gotten those Barbie doll eyes. And I don't think they close. I think you've got to like put a mask on at night to keep the dust out of your eyeballs when you're sleeping, because now you've contorted your face with surgery in such a way that your eyes don't close. And the rest of you are like, are you going for an Asian look with your eyes pulled? I don't understand how you look in the mirror and think I look young and attractive, because you do not. You genuinely don't. And it's time for an intervention, because sweet, holy little baby Jesus in the nativity scene, you people, I saw a picture the other, and I'm not going to name names because we're kind of friends, but I saw a picture of one of the Fox hosts, and I was like, I know you say you didn't, but you got either a health condition or you did, because you don't look natural. You got some sort of face paralysis of some kind, and the Botox, people. I mean, at least like take a couple of weeks off after the Botox so that your head at least starts moving again. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to start this hour this way, but it just keeps coming up, and I got the TV on in the background, and I saw another one. I was like, that's not natural. It's not healthy. Age gracefully. Please, I mean, you can do the red light mask therapy stuff. That apparently works without making you look weird. But I just, y'all, how do you like, again, just, you don't look normal. Age gracefully, please. Age gracefully. Embrace growing old. You get to a point where people are like, it's like getting a face tattoo. This is like the upper income Palm Beach version of face tattoos. You don't want to hire the people with face tattoos. Nobody wants to hire you with your head pulled back so far that we have to look at the back of your head to talk to you. Please stop. Please, for the love of all that is decent and holy. God did not intend for you to do this. And the rest of us know you're doing it, even though you deny that you're doing it. And you look in the mirror and you see a normal person, and the rest of us look and say, you're going to scare my child, and my dog is going to run and hide. Please put a bag over your head. And just embrace growing old. God intended that. Now I can move on. I've got that off my... Y'all, I'm sorry. I was watching... And I saw a certain person who I know, and I was like, dear God, what happened? And somebody's got to, and they know that I love them, and look, I got to lose weight. I'm working on the weight loss. I understand. I'm getting old. I got little things, you get little things that grow now on your face. It's like, I want to get that cut off, but I'm not getting like, my face pulled back. No. Okay, I'm going to let it go now, but it's just not natural, and we know it, even though you deny it. Okay, let's talk about Tennessee's 7th Congressional District. Oh, yeah, her. Yes, Joe, yes. And denies it, and I saw her the other day, and I didn't even know it was her, and I was like, oh, my gosh, it's her, and look, stop texting. Because that's one of the people I had in mind. A longtime friend did not recognize and denies it. Oh, but you did. We're going to talk about Tennessee's 7th Congressional District now, because today changes everything. Let me explain what's going on here. Tennessee's 7th Congressional District had a congressman, Mark Green. Mark Green resigned from Congress to take a job in the private sector, which is code for cheated on his wife. And he did cheat on his wife and left Congress after the One Big Beautiful Bill Act was passed. So there's a special election today for that seat in Congress. And Emerson College is actually one of the better pollsters in the country. I had to look it up. I thought they were a bad pollster, but I was getting them confused with another college. Emerson actually has an A+ rating by Nate Silver and several other groups that look at them in 2022 and 2024. Emerson College kind of was very close to getting all of the elections right in which they participated. But this one, it's a 2-point race in a district that is technically R+10. R+10 means if you put a generic Republican and a generic Democrat on the ballot, the Republican should win by about 10 points. Emerson College came out the Monday before Thanksgiving or Tuesday before Thanksgiving and said it's a 2-point race. Here's the problem with the polling. As I said at the time, it was conducted Saturday, Sunday, Monday, headed into Thanksgiving week. So how accurate can the polling be? But Republicans are freaked out for this reason. Their own internal polling has the race closer than it should be, and Matt Van Epps is a good candidate. It should be a 10-point race. I suspect it's going to be a 10-point race. Trump won 22 points last year. Let me put this in perspective for you. If you want to understand the dynamics headed into the midterms, understand this one point. Donald Trump won Tennessee's 7th Congressional District by 22 points in November of last year, and Matt Van Epps, running as the Republican in the special election, will not mention Donald Trump in his ads. You can make every excuse you want. You can make every excuse you want. Donald Trump's not on the ballot. It's not about Donald Trump, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Any campaign consultant will tell you. Any politician will tell you. And any person who hasn't drunk the Kool-Aid will tell you that if you're endorsed by Donald Trump and he won by 22 points in that district, you would bathe in Donald Trump, wrap him around you, wear his skin if you could to get elected. And when you don't, it's a sign there are problems. And there are. In 2022, Democrats running for Congress outside of the far left districts of this country refused to even mention or acknowledge Joe Biden was president of the United States. And at the time, the same people now who are dismissing the fact that Donald Trump's not in Matt Van Epps ads were making a big deal of the fact that Joe Biden was in the witness protection program and nowhere to be seen in any ad for any Democrat anywhere. It was a big deal because it showed how weak Joe Biden was and how people had turned on him. And they were right. The Democrats are right now about Donald Trump, and here's why this matters. If the race is within 5 points in an R+10 district that Donald Trump and Mark Green won by 22 points, Mark Green actually 21.5 points, that shows that Republicans are having a real problem turning out their base, and Democrats can turn out their base. And it also is the final big special election headed into next year. Everyone's going to be focused on the midterms next year. This is a special election in a very Republican district, and if it's closer than it should be, you're going to start seeing a wave of Republican retirement starting next year, because they're going to realize that the Democrats are going to just barnstorm the country and win. However, if Matt Van Epps does real well, he should. And if he does in an off-year special election where the party out of power tends to have a surge in support, the path for Republicans next year is going to be to try to get as many wackadoo Democrats their party's nomination in the midterm primaries, and then run about how alienating those people are, how out of touch they are, how far left they are. Now, you never have to mention Trump. It's a good defensive strategy. It's what the Democrats did in 2022. But there's a side story here no one's paying attention to. The fact that Republicans are worried about this race in a district that is that Republican is a sign that the good times for the president with his party are beginning to come to an end, as he is term limited and they are not, and they are looking for a future without him. And what you're going to find, particularly if the race is close, but regardless, you're going to start finding members of Congress distancing themselves from Donald Trump. and they will not criticize Donald Trump. They will not throw Donald Trump under the bus. What they will do is they will say, your Secretary of Defense is making you look bad. Your FBI director is making you look bad. Your Homeland Security Secretary is making you look bad. Your Legislative Affairs Director, and they're going to start throwing Donald Trump's staff and cabinet secretaries to the wolves. None of these Republicans in Congress are going to come after the leader of their party directly, but they will begin to do it indirectly by coming after his cabinet secretaries and his staff because he's term limited and they're not. And if this race is close, it's going to happen quickly. If it's not close, it's still going to happen. They'll just be more judicious. That's why today changes. This election actually does matter way more than you think, because it sets expectations for Republicans headed into the midterms, and they're all already freaked out about the midterms. They thought they were going to cruise to a mitigation of Democratic strategies because the Democrats were off their game, and then the November elections this year happened, and it spooked them, and then this election seems to be closer than it is, and their internal polling has it closer than it is, despite Matt Van Epps having a very good campaign and being a good quality candidate against a wackadoo progressive. It has spooked the GOP, and they head into the midterm spooked. Only if Matt Van Epps just blows this out of the water does it calm them down. And none of them think he's going to. And that's the thing here, is that he should, on paper, he should blow this out of the water. And that none of the Republican leaders think he is a warning sign for next year that they need to start preparing for.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
121 Coolray Carrier Traffic Center. Earlier, left lane stall has cleared on the west side perimeter, 285 southbound. The outer loop right before I-20 exit number 10. All lanes back open there. Still seeing some brake lights, 75 southbound and northbound between Ackworth and Kennesaw. And downtown, a little sluggish, 75-85 southbound starting at 17th. Traffic brought to you by O'Keefe's Working Hand Creams. Cool weather wearing on your hands. Try O'Keefe's Working Hands. You'll see visible results in one use and guaranteed relief for dry, cracked hands. O'Keefe's Working Hands, America's #1 hand cream. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
We only want to be around people who think exactly like us.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
God forbid you actually converse about the world.
Eric Von Haessler.
Smash and conquer, my friend.
Eric Von Haessler.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Findlay Roofing. The Roof guys are proud to support Clark's Christmas Kids again this year. Findlay will donate at least $15,000 to Clark's Christmas Kids. Time to replace your roof? Please think of Findlay first. FindlayRoofing.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2798. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
Hi, I'm Daniel Jape, owner of Jape Services. At Jape Services, we believe your home should always be a place of warmth, safety, and comfort. But for some families and local organizations facing tough times, that warmth can be hard to find. That's why we're giving away 2 free brand new Trane furnaces, complete installation, through our Do What's Right Gift of Heat Furnace giveaway. Nominate someone or charity by Friday, December 5th at japeservices.com.
Hey, this is Mark Aaron for Rocco's European Garage. If you own a Benz, Beamer, Porsche, or any European import, do what I do and get it serviced at Rocco's. You'll get better value than the dealership. 6 convenient locations online, roccoseuropeangarage.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Missed part of today's show? Catch it again in full with the Eric Erickson Show 24/7 live stream. Available at ericerickson.com. Stream enabled for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Hello there, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very happy to have you. Really? Wow. AI controls everything. Oh, good gracious. We have some unhinged people calling us today. All right. I got to move on to other stuff here. I got to say this, and I want it on the record, and don't be mad at me for saying this. President Trump, you made a mistake pardoning the former president of Honduras. The other day you said that you had heard it was a prosecution by the Biden administration, one of those runaway abusive prosecutions. Your first term, you actually started the prosecution, not Joe Biden. You began the investigation. It just got carried into the Biden administration because of COVID and things slowing down in the courts. You should have never pardoned the former president of Honduras. He was a narco-terrorist. You're leading operations in a war against narco-terrorists, and he was a big narco-terrorist and gun runner around the world, deeply, deeply, deeply corrupt. He may have been pro-America, but he was pro-American policy while killing the kids of this country with the drugs he was funneling into this country. I don't know who convinced you that you should pardon this man, but you should fire that person, whoever convinced you to do this. You're blowing up ships in the Caribbean of narco-terrorists, and you're pardoning a narco-terrorist leader. That makes no sense. It's not consistent. And this was a mistake that should have never been made. Please fire whoever advised you to pardon this person. All right. Now that I got that off my chest, I can move on. I need to tell you about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. You can get 3 of them by going to EdenPureDeals.com. EdenPureDeals.com is the website. You put in the discount code ERIC3, ERICK3, and you'll get 3 of them. You can get them for less than $200. You save $200, and they work. They eliminate all odors. Every odor. It can't stand up to them. I used one the other day because of the smoker, getting the smoke smell again on my back porch, and they just work. EdenPureDeals.com. Discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3. They get rid of dust. They get rid of pollen. They get rid of 99.9% of bacteria and viruses. And you get 3 of them. You can hold them in your hand. They're small. They're portable. I keep one in a travel bag. Get 3 of them for less than $200. EdenPureDeals.com. Discount code ERIC3.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. A Rockdale County inmate is still on the run this afternoon after fleeing from a mental health check at Grady Hospital. Timothy Shane's last known location, a house in Rockdale County. He got there in an Uber ride after previously stealing and then abandoning 2 vehicles, one of which contained a weapon.
We believe that he is still in possession of that firearm. So, accompanied with his criminal history, that's why we're considering him armed and dangerous.
That's Rockdale County Sheriff's Lieutenant Billy Burrell. He says that Shane is a white man, 52 years old, 5'9", and was last spotted wearing a red hoodie and dark pants. If you see him, call 911. Cloudy today, afternoon highs struggling to reach 50 degrees. It's going to be windy, some of those winds gusting up to 20 miles an hour, says WSP meteorologist Christina Edwards. The GBI is investigating after a deadly officer-involved shooting in Bartow County. Sheriff's deputies and the State Fire Marshal's Office executed a search warrant at a home in Cartersville in a death investigation. 39-year-old Dylan Rice refused to come out of the home, and law enforcement deployed a flashbang into the home. Rice then came out of a back door holding what appeared to be a shotgun or a rifle. When he pointed that gun at deputies, he was shot and killed. Investigators later determined that the gun Rice was holding was a pellet air rifle. No deputies were injured in that incident. New data today from the U.S. Census Bureau shows that fewer than half of U.S. households in 2025 were made up of married couples. That's a big shift from 50 years ago, when nearly 2/3 were. And data also shows that in 1975, more than half of married couple households included their own children under the age of 18. This year, that number has fallen to 37%. Costco is suing the Trump administration. Mitch McCann reports that the warehouse chain is seeking refunds for the tariffs that it's paid on imported items under the International Emergency Powers Act.
The complaint, which was filed in the U.S. Court of International Trade, argues that the president misused the law when implementing his sweeping tariffs and states that it's Congress, not the White House, that has the authority to implement tariffs.
And Costco does not say in the filing just how much they're looking to recover. Other companies have also filed legal challenges against the tariffs, including Revlon, Kawasaki, and Bumblebee. The Supreme Court set to rule on the legality of those tariffs. President Trump, in his final cabinet meeting of the year, took aim at Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. The president said that Powell has been slow to cut interest rates, and he plans on announcing his pick to replace him once his term ends.
We have a guy that's just a stubborn ox who probably doesn't like your president, your favorite president, but they're going to be coming down.
All right, let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is in positive territory. NASDAQ also up more than 0.5%. The S&P's also in the green.
We're grateful to have upgraded so many Georgia homes, and now we've upgraded our name too.
It's Jonathan and Ted. North Georgia Replacement Windows is now NG Windows.
Our name is shrinking, but we're blessed that our company is growing.
Smaller name, but still serving you bigger views with Infinity by Marvin fiberglass windows.
Window and door shopping made simple at ngwindows.com.
Infinity by Marvin from NG Windows, yeah!
Picture it, your holiday table, the family cooking together, the scent of golden brown bread, rosemary from roasted potatoes, and a salad so crisp it snaps. This season at Kroger, make the moments that matter possible with quality that's affordable in every aisle. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Right now, select 6 to 8 ounce varieties of Kroger cheese are on sale. 3 for $5 when you buy 3 with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
I'm more and more getting encounters with, family and friends wanting to know, is this a scam? What have you? They're so sophisticated now, and especially with older folks, the level of sophistication that criminals are using online to scam people, it's next level. Vision Computers could be your last line of defense on this. If you've got Vision Computers managed IT plan for yourself, for your home, for your business, you can put your employees or your aging parents through some training with the employees at Vision Computer that can help protect them. And you can even, if someone calls and you think it's a scam, put them on hold, call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE, and do a three-way call. And the pros, they get on the call, the crooks run away. Vision Computer's employees, your parents, well, they're taken care of. Call Vision Computer today. Get peace of mind, state-of-the-art technology, and defense with their managed IT plans. Call Vision Computers today at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. 404-COMPUTE.
You've thought about assisted living for your parents, but maybe the right answer is renovating your home and having mom or dad move in. I'm Richard, Chief Architect at Sketch House, where we create custom architectural drawings for homeowners looking to remodel. Why get drawings first? You'll know what's possible. You'll be able to get pricing and compare builders apples to apples, and builders love drawings. You'll get bumped to the top of their list with drawings in hand. Let Sketch House help you make a decision about your aging parents at a fixed price. Visit sketchhouse.com. That's sketch, HAUS.com.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
All lanes just blocked and reopened on the west side perimeter, 285 northbound at I-20 to get trouble off to the right. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Cloudy, breezy, chilly with some areas of drizzle through the afternoon. High 48, lows tonight in the low 30s.
More news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens, 95.5 WSB.
Hello there, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the nation. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Let me see if I can actually find the audio instead of reading you the transcript here. The president talking a little while ago at the White House in his last cabinet meeting of the year, and he was talking about the economy and the Fed chair. Nah, I haven't seen it, so let me just read you what he said. He said, inflation will soon be at a perfect level. Since last January, we've stopped inflation in its tracks, and there is still more to do. There's always more to do, but we have it down to a very good level. It's going to go down a little bit further. You want to have a little tiny bit of inflation, otherwise that's not good either. Then you have a thing called deflation, and deflation can be worse than inflation, but it almost will soon be at a perfect level. The mortgage rates, despite the fact that we have an incompetent chairman at the Fed, a real dope who should reduce rates. I saw even Jamie Dimon said he should be reducing rates. I never saw Jamie Dimon say that. I wonder why he said that, but he really said it because he's right. But we have a guy that's just a stubborn ox who probably doesn't like your president, your favorite president. But they're going to be coming down. You know, he called me one time, middle of the night, unlisted phone number. I answer the phone. It doesn't even say it's President Trump. There's no one to tell me the president's lying. It just says, it's your favorite president. That's literally how I said, this is Eric. It's your favorite president. I mean, he talks like he always has. Now, I want to comment on part of this, though. China is going through deflation. And there are the same people who told you tariffs were good. They're like, why can't we get deflation? We want deflation. We want prices to come down. I'm going to try to explain this as best I can, why deflation, President Trump is right, deflation can be worse than inflation. The Great Depression was a deflationary event. You know, I went to law school to avoid math, so I'm going to make this as simple as I can for all of us. You got a widget. You sell the widget for $1. You can buy the widget for $1. I buy the widget for $1. The widget company employs 100 people to make the widgets. They all get a great salary, and the company is profitable selling $1 widgets. Deflation happens. The widget is now 25 cents. So 3/4 of the price it was yesterday. It's fallen the price 75%, from $1 to 25 cents. That's deflation. That price has come down. So you today, with your earning power now, you used to only be able to afford 10 widgets. Now you can buy 75% more widgets because the price is down. You can buy a lot of widgets. Everybody can buy a lot of widgets. But there's a problem. It's the problem you don't see. Widget Company was profitable, selling widgets for $1 and giving people great wages. Well, Widget Company cannot now pay the wages to the people. So it must either fire people or it must dramatically cut their wages. Yesterday, these people were all making $50,000. Have a 75% drop in their salary because widget prices, they've collapsed 75%. They were making $50,000, or let's say they were making $100,000, so I can do the math in my head. Now they're making $25,000. Or the company's not profitable, or the company goes out of business because the price of the widget has collapsed so much they can't make a profit. They go out of business. The company goes out of business. The real estate that they were on, it's now empty. It's now not worth as much to the tax-paying digest. The employees are all unemployed now. They got to go find jobs, but everything's collapsing, and employers are having to fire everybody. That's the Great Depression. Prices collapsed rapidly. It's happening in China right now. And part of the problem is there's an ancillary effect to deflation. The price of the widget dropped from $1 to 25 cents. Some people aren't going to buy anything. It could drop all the way down to 10 cents. I might wait. So not only is the widget price reduced by 75%, and the company still has a lot of overhead, has a lot of deals, has a lot of fixed costs, mortgages and loans that aren't going to be adjusted, that they still have to pay despite not having as much money. They're not going to be able to refinance everything. Now suddenly some people are like, I'm going to wait it out. The widget price might drop further. Deflation is actually bad. It sounds like something you want. So what's the solution? The solution is a little more difficult to achieve, but with sound economic policy, you keep inflation low. How do you keep inflation low? You keep inflation low by the government not spending so much and putting so much money out there. So that given the choice between buying government bonds and buying public stock, you're investing in the private sector. You're buying stock. You're buying stuff, not government bonds. And that money goes to profits, which help your 401k, and also goes to pay raises. So you slow down inflation, so inflation's 1 to 2% a year. That's where the Fed likes it, 2%. But then wages are growing at 3% a year. So if wages are growing at 3% a year and inflation is growing at 2% a year, you're getting ahead. You're not making a lot of money every year. Your pay is not going up much every year. It's going up 3%, not 10%, not 5%, just 3%. But because inflation is only going up 2%, you're actually every year with your 3% wage able to buy more. Your wage growth is outpacing inflation. So you haven't deflated prices, you've just grown your income. By restraining inflation, but not having deflation, by having a stable economy, wages grow faster than inflation. Every year your take-home pay is more. Not just more, but your purchase power is more every year. That's what you want. That's what we had until Biden wrecked it. That's what we had in the first Trump administration. That's, frankly, part of the problem with tariffs, because tariffs cause prices to go up. It's not inflationary per se. It's a one-time price hike. But when wages are behind inflation right now, inflation right now is growing at 3%. Wages, I think, are growing at like 2.5%. So every year now, stuff is getting more expensive. You're getting priced out. You want it to be reversed. You want wages at 3% and inflation at 2.5%. We could get there with sound economic policy. Part of what happens, though, is the government's got to spend less. The government's got to stop dumping money it doesn't have into the economy. We can get there again. We had it up until, 4 years ago. We had that balance. We can get back to that balance. Part of it's going to require some economic discipline in Washington. That's the hardest part, frankly, is the economic discipline in Washington, D.C. But we have to get back to it. And we got to get back to it because we don't want the deflationary event. There was an article in The Atlantic talking about that today, about just how bad the deflation situation in China is. And I would note that if you're a longtime listener to this program, I've talked a number of times about the deflationary events that were happening in China and how bad it actually was. There are actually growing numbers of stories, I should say, about just how bad the inflationary events are in China right now, where people are flat out not buying stuff. They're unable to buy stuff. They're waiting. Yeah, here it is. This is from The Atlantic. Living in China is getting cheaper because rents in my neighborhood in central Beijing are dropping. My wife and I pressed our landlord to reduce ours by $140 a month in a new lease we signed last month. He wasn't happy, but he's lucky we didn't move out. Given the desperation of local landlords, we probably could have saved another $500 a month had we switched to a comparable apartment nearby. To Americans pinched by rising prices, such declines might seem enviable. The high cost of living in the United States has become a serious political headache for President Trump, who entered office with promises to bring prices down, but has seen them only rise. Falling prices in China may then seem like yet more evidence Beijing got things right, but plummeting prices are a problem too. Deflation in China is a result of the most basic of market principles: too much supply, too little demand. China's government has spent decades promoting investments in housing, factories, and infrastructure, investments that enabled China's rapid growth, but has also left the economy burdened by apartments and assembly lines that exceed demand. The mismatch explains why prices for Chinese-made goods have been falling for more than 3 years. A proliferation of bargains may be great for shoppers and renters, but it poses an existential threat to the economy. Deflation stymies growth by discouraging consumption. Why buy a car or a dishwasher today when they're cheaper tomorrow? Chinese leaders have resisted economic reforms to scale back supply and juice demand, although Xi has suggested the government should do more to strip out excess factory capacity. Calling for an orderly exit from outdated manufacturing, local officials often prop up loss-making companies to preserve jobs. China is now paying for the economic mismanagement. Companies in crowded, competitive markets are slashing prices in a mad scramble for customers. We recently bought a cup of fresh yogurt from a nearby restaurant for 68 cents. In September, it was $1.10. A friend recently tried out a new gym with a promotion that cut exercise classes to 40 cents a session, a bargain compared with the $10 she usually spends. Vicious competition among desperate automakers has depressed car prices to unsustainable levels. BYD, China's largest electric vehicle maker, startled the industry earlier this year with steep discounts. The company cut the price of its Seal hybrid sedan by 34% to $14,500, and yet the Chinese are reluctant to shop because prices keep coming down and wages are coming down. And a lot of people have loans that are fixed in and they can't refinance in China. It's becoming a serious economic drag in China, and it's something we don't want here. High inflation is bad. We don't want high inflation. We've had high inflation. It has come down. It's still higher than it should be. One of the things that's working good is that our gas prices continue to fall. Gas prices have been falling pretty reliably for some time. That's a good thing, and the president's hoping that we might be able to get it down even further. This was actually an engagement with the president at the White House a little earlier with some of the reporters.
We're now at about $2.50 a gallon. We're going to be, I think, at $2 a gallon. We could even crack that at some point. I'd love to do it. And we could do it more easily if we weren't building up the strategic national reserves, which Biden emptied out before the election so that he could try and get elected, meaning he started it, then he got thrown out of the race. Then she took over and she kept it going, and they emptied out these strategic national reserves, which are really meant for something else. They're not meant to keep people happy with their gasoline price. They're meant for war. They're meant for problems, big problems. He emptied it out, and then she continued it during the process of trying to get elected. Didn't work out too well for him. And they virtually brought it down to the lowest level, I believe, in history. And it didn't have much of an impact because the prices were very high. But our prices now for energy, but for gasoline, are really low. Electricity's coming down. And when that comes down, everything comes down.
He's right. This is one of the smartest things this administration has done since they got in office, was to push for an expansion of drilling. In fact, OPEC is warning about an oil glut. We haven't had that since 2020. Remember when everybody stopped, you could actually buy a barrel of oil, like they would pay you to take it off the premises. It was like a negative price. No one had ever seen that before. Oil companies were trying to get rid of oil. It was so stockpiled and gas prices were so cheap. We're having an oil glut again. And that's a good thing because it brings down the price. Now, here's the problem, though. Because the price is coming down, you've got oil field hands that make a certain amount of money. Layoffs are going to start happening in the oil sector because they've baked in labor and demand for labor at a certain price. It gets down to $2 a gallon. I wish it would. It would be economically stimulative and could forestall any sort of recession if we get down to $2 a gallon. It has been a very wise policy by this administration to focus on maximum production of oil in this country. We need it. We actually do need it. Fossil fuels are not going away. I don't care what the left says. Fossil fuels are not going away. We need as many fossil fuels as we possibly can to fire up this American economy and keep energy prices cheap. Cheap energy prices help bring down inflation without causing deflation. And that's something we need.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
150 Cool Day Carrier Traffic Center, watching brake lights 285 north, the inner loop on the west side from Cascade Road, getting up to a slow exit ramp really in both directions to Hollowell Parkway. Going to see if there's any traffic light issues there. Crash still working in Kennesaw, the intersection of Wade Green Road at Shiloh Road. That's really jammed up on Wade Green Road leaving I-75, so look out for that. Traffic is brought to you by Blindster.com. Blinders Cyber Week sale. Blindster Cyber Week sale is here. Save up to 50% now on all custom blinds, guaranteed to fit and price lower than big box stores. Hurry, this sale ends soon. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When we came up with the idea for Clark's Christmas Kids 35 years ago, I told myself we were going to help every foster child across the state. But we need your help. To find out how you can make a child's Christmas wishes come true, visit WSBRadio.com.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers. My dad, Mike. Dad, what's the all-time best Christmas gift?
Diamond studs. Everybody needs a pair.
And ours don't break the bank. Real diamonds set in gold from just $275. And with D. Geller & Son's lifetime upgrade, get 100% of what you paid towards a bigger pair anytime for life.
We also have diamond jackets for $5.95 that go around the studs to instantly change the look.
So come spend the holidays with the experts at D. Geller & Son in Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
The end of the year is near. Still looking for a way to spread holiday cheer? Visit TommyNovaCenter.org and watch them tow your vehicle out of sight. Help place someone with disabilities in a job that's just right. When you donate your car, truck, or van to Tommy Nova Center, you're helping people with disabilities find meaningful employment and achieve their dreams. Join us in spreading joy and creating brighter futures. Together, we can drive change this holiday season. Visit TommyNovaCenter.org to make your tax-deductible donation of cars or cash today.
Are you starting to consider a new roof, but not sure if it's needed or what it might cost?
Tim Andrews, if you're going to impersonate Scott Slade, you might want to add a little bottom.
A little bottom to it.
A little bass, yes.
I'm working on that.
Well, you don't have to impersonate me. We're both here for FGA Roofing.
I know them.
FGA Roofing offers their free drone assessment. And you'll know if it just needs a fix, a rejuvenation, or a new roof. They'll quote you a price, and if you mention Scott Slade, they'll take $750 off the quote.
What about me?
Mention Tim Andrews, they'll take $750 off the quote.
That's $1,500.
If you mention both of us. And here's the best part. That quote is good for 1 year.
With your good credit, you can take advantage of their 000 offer. That's 0 down payment, 0 payments for 18 months, and 0 interest.
They offer all types of roofs, from architectural or any of the high-end roofs like Slate.
Take the first step now and set up an appointment at fgaroofing.com. That's fgaroofing.com.
Or just Google FGA Roofing.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Get the podcast, live stream, email, and social media links by texting Eric to 33777 now.
Hello there, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. I want to go to Chuck calling from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Chuck, welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh, could be better, could be worse. Is my standard reply. I have a few thoughts, but probably more questions about economics in general and inflation versus deflation and all that. I took one economics class in college back in the 70s when inflation was, seemed like higher than ever. And our professors, the main point our professor got across was inflation is too much money chasing too few goods.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my understanding, rightly or wrongly, that the U.S. government keeps printing this money, it seems like all the time. And I've never understood how it gets into circulation in the first place. Where does the new money go, or who gets to spend it first? And I assume it's the government that gets to spend it first, but I've never had that explained to me. And if the government is pumping money into the economy to cause inflation, why can't it, on a very gradual basis, so it's not painful to anybody, withdraw money from circulation over the course of time to bring it back down to a reasonable level?
Okay, great questions. And again, I go into this making sure everybody knows I'm not an expert on this, but I've read enough to know that, when the government is dumping money into the economy, essentially what it's doing is it's printing money to pay the government's own bills. And that money then gets circulated in as the government pays its bills. And likewise, it's when interest rates are very low, banks can pull money out from the Federal Reserve and lend a lot of money. When Congress starts dumping money on American citizens it doesn't have, remember all the stimulus checks, the $2,000 here for this, the $2,000 there for that? That was money that was conjured out of nothing and put into Americans' pockets and flooded the zone and caused the mass inflation. It's what Larry Summers warned about, who, by the way, is stepping back from more and more stuff because of the Epstein scandal. But that's what he was warning about. When you give Americans stimulus checks of $2,000 a pop, that's a lot of money that the government doesn't actually have. They've got to print new money. That causes inflation. So you got to pull that money back, rein it back in. Start paying off debts and get money out of the system. And that's where the raising interest rates comes in. It restrains the borrowing rate. When you wind up doing that, it makes it harder to get money out of the government when you have high interest rates. That's how you fight inflation, raise the interest rate. Now, let me tell you, speaking of banks, Old Glory Bank, probably the fastest growing bank in the country right now. It's my bank. It can be your bank. oldglorybank.com/Eric. Go there today. You want to do business with companies that share your values. Old Glory Bank shares your values. They believe in freedom and hard work. They like to reward it. They're very patriotic. They like to do great banking deals for members of the military, waiving fees, giving you great accounts. If you're a small business in this country, they're very hands-on with business. You can go to oldglorybank.com/Eric today to find out more. I've got a no-fee checking and a no-fee savings account with them. They're very good people. They would love to have your business. They believe in freedom and hard work and patriotism. They're not ashamed of this country. and they would love to do business with you. If you're looking for a new bank, check out Old Glory Bank at oldglorybank.com/Eric, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
It doesn't have to be like this.
You don't have to put up with it.
Shutting down the ramp from 285 East.
You don't have to sit in it.
It takes almost 30 minutes to go 400 South.
And you don't have to look at your phone to get out of it.
It is Atlanta traffic, and getting you out of it is what we do best.
We had a lot going on this morning through Henry County.
Updated traffic as often as you need it from local traffic reporters 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
It's a jackknife tractor trailer.
Triple team traffic.
95.5 WSB.
How Atlanta gets there.
Cold temps can freeze water in the ground, wreaking havoc on your septic system. Hi, I'm Shannon, owner of Scorpion Septic. We can help. My licensed, insured, experienced team responds 24/7 with upfront pricing and high-quality work.
Take the sting out of septic service with Scorpion Septic, where there is never a pump-out charge with your repair. Details online, scorpionsepticservices.com.
ScorpionSepticServices.com. We weren't planning on selling our home, but our family's needs changed. I'm Caitlin, and selling our home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate was the best decision we made for our family. With over 11,000 five-star reviews, I had peace of mind knowing I could trust Mark Spain Real Estate to sell our home fast and for more than we were asking. If you're preparing to move, check out Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer. Go to markspain.com and see what their guaranteed offer would be on your home. There's no obligation. That's markspain.com and start packing.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. Police across Metro Atlanta are helping in the manhunt for a Rockdale County inmate who escaped from Grady Hospital. 52-year-old Timothy Shane was taken to the hospital for a mental exam. Rockdale County Sheriff's Lieutenant Billy Burrell says Shane has stolen at least 2 cars and a gun.
We believe that he is still in possession of that firearm. So, accompanied with his criminal history, that's why we're considering him armed and dangerous.
An Uber dropped Shane off at a residence in Rockdale County, but he wasn't there. We posted Shane's photo at WSBRadio.com. Anyone with information should contact the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office. 48 degrees in Atlanta, clearing out tonight and turning colder. How much of a warm-up tomorrow? Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. A project to increase green space along the Chattahoochee River is getting another boost. Here's a report all new at 2 o'clock.
The Trust for Public Land says they finalized the acquisition of more than a half-mile of riverfront property to expand Campbellton Park in the city of Chattahoochee Hills. Trust for Public Land State Director George Dusenberry says this is a key addition to their overall goal.
At the end of the day, we want a continuous green space that extends all the way from Buford Dam down to Chattahoochee Bend State Park.
The land purchase was made possible through a partnership with the city and a nearly $2 million Department of Natural Resources grant. Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Georgia lawmakers look for ways to make higher education in the state more affordable. State Senator Nan Orrock leads a committee which finds the state should have more options for needs-based financial aid to help students achieve their goals. She says even with the Hope Scholarship, it's not enough.
People are still left with $5,000, $6,000, $10,000, $12,000 gap to fill some other way.
The report finds a needs-based program would cost the state more than $126 million for more than 98,000 students. A murder suspect is dead after a standoff with Bartow County deputies at a home in Cartersville. When 39-year-old Dylan Rice refused to come out of the house, law enforcement deployed flashbangs into the home. He then came out of a back door holding what appeared to be a shotgun or rifle. After he pointed the gun at deputies, Rice was shot and killed. Investigators later determined the gun that Rice was holding was a pellet air rifle. No deputies were injured in the incident. The GBI is investigating. The World Health Organization now recommends GLP-1 drugs like Zepbound and Wegovy should be used as a tool to manage obesity. The WHO says obesity should be viewed as a complex, preventable, and treatable chronic disease. It is now 2:02. This news sponsored by Brett Beckers. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 core body scan offer has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
Hey folks, it's Belinda. What you have planned this weekend? How about visiting the Lakewood 400 Antiques Market in Cumming, Friday through Sunday this weekend? Grab your spouse or your friends and go on a treasure hunt with over 500 booths. Everything you can imagine, from jewelry, collectibles, sports memorabilia, antiques, furniture, handcrafts, and toys. Every aisle and row is a different adventure. Come on out this weekend to the Lakewood 400 Antiques Market, 1321 Atlanta Highway in Cumming. Visit LakewoodAntiques.com.
This is Andy Harris, president of Coosa Valley Credit Union, inviting you to come see us for your auto loan needs. If you're buying a car or refinancing your current auto loan, at Coosa Valley Credit Union, you'll get one of the lowest interest rates in the market, as low as 3.49 APR when you open an account with a direct deposit. Coosa Valley Credit Union is local and nearby in Northwest Georgia. Plus, you'll always speak to a real person when dealing with us. That's what we call kinder banking.
Contact 706-235-8551 for more details. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Imagine having your guests arrive for the holidays in your cluttered walk-in closet, disorganized pantry, dirt-stained mudroom, box-filled garage, and master closet with outdated wire racks have all been professionally upgraded to maximize their space and potential by the team at Artisan Custom Closets. Dave Baker here. Schedule your free design consultation today with a certified master artisan designer at artisancustomclosets.com and reward yourself with affordable luxury over the holidays. artisancustomclosets.com.
It's 2:05, time for live stream coverage of traffic and weather in the 24-hour traffic center. Alex Williams.
Hey, good afternoon, Bill. Not so good on the west side perimeter. 285 both north and southbound really stacked up trying to get past Hollowell Parkway. I think the traffic lights are not timed correctly on Hollowell Parkway over I-285. That's what's causing that issue. Crash moved off to the right, 75 southbound, right around 17th Street. And looking for northbound trouble, 75-85 north, just found that moved off to the right before 10th Street. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Cloudy, breezy, chilly with some areas of drizzle through the afternoon. High 48, lows tonight in the low 30s.
Right now it's 44 degrees in Cartersville, 48 in Snellville. It's also 48 in Riverdale. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Hello, America. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425 if you want to be on the program. I'm typing something as I talk to you here. I know, unprofessional. Forgive me. Okay. Hang on a second. What is it? What? No. So I'm afraid if I mention it, well, all right, okay. But do it could provoke him again. That's all I'm saying. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an issue. Someone has called repeatedly that AI is now in charge of everything. Your opinion nor mine matters not, because AI is in charge of everything now. And I need you to understand that I use AI, or at least I try to use AI. And AI is rather garbage. There are some things AI is fine with, but over time AI hallucinates. Maybe you are hallucinating if you think AI is in charge of everything, but I can assure you, as someone, I got subscriptions to them all. Gemini, Grok, OpenAI, Perplexity, you name it, OpenAI is ChatGPT. It's useful in some situations. It is. But then it gets stupid. And they can't figure out why it's getting stupid. They hallucinate. Now, the hallucination they believe comes from this. The algorithms are over time designed to please you and tell you what you want to hear. And because they are designed over time to tell you what you want to hear, they begin to alter reality to conform to what the AI algorithm tells it you want. And that leads to delusions where it makes stuff up to tell you things. So we apparently have someone who is calling and insists that all our opinions are now irrelevant because AI controls everything. And I can assure you AI does not control everything because anyone who regularly uses AI knows that AI to a degree is overrated. And, you know, this may be a proper segue into something. So I've been promising to write this piece. AI is not controlling everything, and I have to tell you that I actually support President Trump's position that we do not need a 50-state regulatory framework for AI. I actually think that is bad for the development of AI because AI is going to be developed. But when you have the states, each of them engaged in agendas to placate the bases of the masses in their states, each throwing out different regulations, it's going to slow down AI development in this country. It's going to be a very piecemeal, broken approach where other nations will get ahead of us in the development of good and usable AI. We are in an AI bubble, and I see people all the time say we're not in an AI bubble. We are in an AI bubble. This is the same thing as the dot-com bubble. How do I know we're in an AI bubble? I know because the way AI is being financed. I've mentioned this before, where NVIDIA invests money in AI company then buys a number of chips from NVIDIA equal to the NVIDIA investment. It's a circle. There's no new product there. You had the situation of OpenAI announcing it was going to invest in AMD. AMD stock skyrocketed. OpenAI then sold the stock and used the profit to buy chips from AMD. Y'all, this is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. This is going to be what brings about the demise of the current economic bubble. OpenAI and AI generally, but the company OpenAI, ChatGPT's parent company, I believe amounts to essentially Enron, WorldCom, and Global Crossing all combined. Enron, Global Crossing, and WorldCom were three major companies in the early 2000s that went belly up. Global Crossing had overexpanded internet infrastructure so much it couldn't sustain it, and it collapsed and went bankrupt. WorldCom and Enron were accounting schemes that went south, got away from them, and fraud allegations brought down accounting companies and others. And the math doesn't add up. That's not to say AI is going to collapse and go away. You know, the internet was built in a bubble. Go back to the late 90s. You had the massive internet bubble, whatever happened to pets.com, among other things. So remember back during the early 2000s, every single Super Bowl ad in the late 90s and early 2000s was for a .com company, almost none of which exists anymore. But the internet didn't go away. The internet is more useful and productive than ever. I think AI over time will become useful and productive. I just also think that it's overrated. I actually don't know of a company. There might be a company. I haven't heard of it. I don't know of a company that is willing to come forward and say AI is really getting them a return on investment. I know companies that are using AI, that are becoming more efficient with AI. I actually know several companies that are hiring people because of AI, because they're becoming so much more efficient, they can do more work quickly. But even those say you got to go back and second guess things. You got to double check. Talking to a buddy of mine last night, he operates as my CFO, does my books, and handles all my accounting stuff for my radio company. And he was saying that, accounting, your CPA, you're never going to get AI to be a CPA. And accounting, you're always going to want some accountant who can look at things. AI is not going to be able to look at things and massage the books and help you navigate where to put money and how to account for money and how to navigate tax issues in ways that an individual can do. AI is not going to be able to do that. You're always, accounting may be boring and you may be bored out of your mind as an accountant, but you're always going to have a job. Accounting's not, accounting, AI is not going to get rid of the plumbers and electricians of the world. I was talking to a friend this morning about I got a leaky faucet. I need to replace it. And she said, you can take a picture of it, get on ChatGPT, and it'll tell you how to do it. It's, yes, it can tell me how to do it, but it does not understand that I cannot do what it tells me to do. I am not competent to do that. My wife would. Well, she's out of town, so I probably could, and she would never know until she came home and the water damage revealed that I had screwed up. I could probably replace a sink. I can replace an electrical outlet. I'm pretty sure I could replace a sink. I could have ChatGPT guide me, but it'd be better if I had a plumber or an electrician. I just think this stuff is overrated. And I'm really, really, really concerned about these massive data centers. We've got one going in north of me, and it is going to be ginormous. What is it called? A giga center or whatever? It's one of the Google ones that's going to be massive. They've already got another massive Google center here in Georgia. All of you around the country, you're getting these massive data centers with the white noise they make at night. Off in the distance, you hear the and you don't know what it is, and it starts to drive you crazy, and it's the data center 10 miles away. We got some people here, they're building one in a county, and they're freaked out by the water usage. Now, they don't consume this water. The water cools the equipment and then goes back out again, but everybody's freaked out. They're going to take all our water. Not really. That's not actually how it works, but people are scared of it. They don't understand, and they're signing non-disclosure agreements with local governments, and so it looks sinister even though it's not. But think about this. Your county puts in massive infrastructure for a data center that hires virtually not a single person. But you get a lot of tax revenue for now, and then it goes belly up. Where are you going to get the money to cover the bonds? The data center's gone belly up. Where your county, your city, they're going to be on the hook for lots of money that's not going to get repaid by the data centers. And what are you going to do? Seize all the assets of the data center? And so, well, the whole reason the data center went belly up is because the chips were outdated, and now the chips that used to cost $100 are now like 3 pennies. You're not going to be able to sell the stuff. We are headed into a financial meltdown of our economy because of the way AI is being built. The massive buildup. I hear people keep making this reference. I don't know where it comes from, but I've now heard it from about 5 or 6 different people that the only industry that overbuilt infrastructure before demand was there and survived was the railroad industry. The railroad industry built massive railroads around the country before there was demand, but the demand caught up pretty quickly. We've got these AI data centers building massive data centers, expecting a massive demand. What if the demand never comes? Because again, for all the people who this particular person calls in and says your opinion no longer matters for reasons, AI is all that matters and AI is in control, you must not actually use AI if you believe that AI is in charge of stuff. You must not use artificial intelligence if you believe that artificial intelligence is in charge of everything, because it's too stupid to form decent opinions. It's too stupid to function for too long. And the people who use it are getting dumber, by the way. The college kids who are relying on AI, not only are they getting a constant source of bad information, they're also becoming stupider for relying on a computer to tell them what's true when much of what the computer tells them is false. In fact, if you really want to get on into the rabbit hole with AI, get on ChatGPT. Tell it to make the arguments that the moon landing was fake. Pretty soon you'll be convinced. It's just, it can be a useful tool. So listener David just emailed in. He uses AI. He says, if I can get his email pulled up here, that he uses AI in technical writing. And there are obviously problems with AI, as I've been telling you. He says, I use it frequently, but I have the ability to check the results. My rule of thumb is, in order to ask the right question, one has to know a part of the answer. I only use AI to fill in my technical writing and pull in resources on technical subjects. I already know parts of the answer. Now, he's an engineer, and he can do that. I'm telling you, again, we got crazy caller calling saying AI is in charge of everything. I use it on a regular basis, and I'm stunned. There are things that I can use for, like this morning in my office, I wanted to figure out a setup for a video chat that people who watch my video stream can see, but also the audio can go to radio, and it's kind of hard. And I was able to diagram out how my equipment is set up, and I feed it into ChatGPT. Well, I didn't. A friend of mine did. And it gave me the answer that I thought was the answer, and sure enough, it works. That was very useful, helping me problem solve in that way. I have, for recipes, put in all the ingredients I wanted in ChatGPT. It says, help me with the recipe. And it provided me a recipe that I could tell was not going to be good, but if I made certain adjustments, it would be. It's really amazing, some of the stuff that you can conjure up with ChatGPT. In fact, last night we were on the front porch, and Philip had a cigar wrapper, and we didn't recognize the brand, and he took a picture and put it in ChatGPT. What is this? And it told us all about the cigar. It was a good cigar. I didn't mean for him to have it because apparently it was a good cigar, and I should have smoked it, but I gave it to him instead because I thought it was going to be terrible and too strong for me, and apparently it would have been just nice. But we figured out what it was. There's real use for AI. The real problem is that they're overbuilding it. The real problem is the economics are not sound. And the real problem is it's taking the bottom rung jobs that used to go to young people out of college to give them experience to work up the ladder. So now the young people are going to have to go further into college debt to get more experience to come in above where AI is on the ladder for corporations, and they're going to be saddled with debt, with AI always headed in their direction. But it keeps making weird mistakes over time. And I think if you're not a regular user of AI, you don't appreciate how all AI systems, no matter how well built, over time begin to hallucinate and start making stuff up. And nobody seems to have an answer to that. And meanwhile, not a single company that I'm aware of says it's getting a return on investment in AI investment. There's a lot of chatter. There's a lot of financial investment into it. I've used AI. I see the benefits. It makes me more efficient. But it starts making weird mistakes, and companies using it at scale don't see a return on investment. What they see is that it's taking kids' jobs and doing no better than the kids out of college. So at least the kids on college can learn and be flexible, so maybe bring them back.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
221 Cool Ray Carrier Traffic Center just found a new stall on the southeast side perimeter. 285 northbound, the outer loop, I-20 exit 46. Left lane is blocked there. 285 southbound, the outer loop on the west side. That's still slow from South Cobb Drive, passing that slow exit to Hollowell Parkway, exit 12. Looks like traffic lights missed time there on Hollowell at 285. Traffic brought to you by Total Joint Specialists. Is hip or knee pain slowing you down? Find relief with internationally renowned hip and knee care right here in Georgia. Visit TotalJointSpecialist.com today and get back to doing what you love. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Clark Howard here, and each year we set a goal to provide gifts for every child in foster care across the state of Georgia, and we can't do it without you. Join me at 3 different Walmarts across Metro Atlanta December 7th, 13th, and 14th for our 35th annual Clark's Christmas Kids. Help make Georgia foster kids' Christmas wishes come true. For more information about how you can donate and for Walmart store locations, visit WSBradio.com.
'Tis the season. Have you gotten your flu shot? At All Care, our experienced flu specialists are dedicated to providing comprehensive and personalized care, from vaccines to testing to treatment. And you can walk right in to any of All Care's 15 Atlanta locations and access our unique combination of primary and immediate care under a single roof. For flu season and beyond, say goodbye to waiting for the doctor and say hello to All Care, a proud member of the Piedmont Clinically Integrated Network.
Y'all, I'm more and more getting encounters with, family and friends wanting to know, is this a scam? What have you? They're so sophisticated now, and especially with older folks, the level of sophistication that criminals are using online to scam people, it's next level. Vision Computers could be your last line of defense on this. If you've got Vision Computers managed IT plan for yourself, for your home, for your business, you can put your employees or your aging parents through some training with the employees at Vision Computer that can help protect them. And you can even, if someone calls and you think it's a scam, put them on hold, call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE, and do a three-way call. And the pros, they get on the call, the crooks run away. Vision Computer's employees, your parents, well, they're taken care of. Call Vision Computer today. Get peace of mind, state-of-the-art technology, and defense with their managed IT plans. Call Vision Computers today at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. 404-COMPUTE.
Fall is here, and with it comes cool air and heavy rains. All that moisture doesn't just smell bad, it affects the air your family breathes and even your home's foundation. Hi, I'm Jeremy, owner of American Crawl Space Solutions, and we believe in a needs-based approach, recommending only what your crawl space truly needs. No high-pressure sales tactics and no price increase just because you don't commit today. American Crawl Space Solutions, your best value in crawl space repair.
American Crawl Space Solutions, foundations too.
This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory. While everyone's focused on diet and exercise this new year, let's talk about the foundation of all health, sleep. Quality sleep strengthens your immune system, improves mental clarity, and helps regulate weight. Yet, we spend more time researching a TV purchase than our mattress. Your sleep affects every resolution you make this year. Visit the Original Mattress Factory and discover how the right mattress can support every health goal you've set for yourself.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers with my dad, Mike. And Dad, how do you know you've got the right gift before you give it?
You get it at D. Geller & Son. We've been helping Atlanta get it right since 1939 with real jewelry experts to walk you through Atlanta's best selection.
Whether it's silver and diamond stocking stuffers for $95, diamond hoops for $13.95, or one-of-a-kind showstoppers.
For the best selection, best quality, and best value.
Trust D. Geller & Son in Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-575-2798.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hello there, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. You should know Ron DeSantis is suggesting there will be a legislative session for redistricting in Florida next year. A growing number of Republican states considering redistricting. Governor DeSantis announced the intention to call a special legislative session on congressional redistricting in the spring of 2026 during an interview with the Floridian. So we're going to redistrict. The issue is that there's a Supreme Court decision we're waiting on. The argument is October. In October, about Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act impacts Florida's maps. We're going to do it next spring. I'm going to talk to Senator Al Britton about when it makes sense to do, but it's going to get done. I think we're going to be required to do it because of the court decision. Why? Because the Supreme Court's probably going to say no racial redistricting. Some districts are required under an old interpretation of the Voting Rights Act to be drawn to preserve the strength of a black voting age population or Hispanic voting age population. The feeling seems to be that the Supreme Court's going to overturn its longstanding precedents in that and say you can't use race at all to redistrict. If that's the case, Florida does have to redistrict because it used race to preserve some of those districts. So we'll see. But also, you got to keep in mind as well, a lot of Republicans, they want to see what happens in Tennessee today to get a sense of if they draw an R+10 district into an R+5 district, might that turn into a swing district with Democratic pushes at the polls next year? We'll see. Americans for Prosperity is trying to mobilize a Republican push to the polls next year, along with getting common sense conservative reforms passed in the country. If you go to afpvolunteer.com today, you can sign up with Americans for Prosperity, and you can make a difference in the fight for freedom in this country and for advancing common sense conservative solutions. You go to afpvolunteer.com, that's the website. Sign up with Americans for Prosperity. Americans for Prosperity is the largest and leading grassroots group in the country. They've got chapters in every state. They're on the right. They advance common sense conservative reforms. They fight for things like school choice, the president's tax reforms, deregulation on small businesses, permitting reforms for energy companies to speed up exploration of energy in this country. You can be a part of the fight. They keep you informed with what's happening at your state level and the federal level. They teach you how to talk to your members of Congress, state legislators, local officials, even neighbors about common sense proposals to advance the fight for freedom in the country. And they could even help you learn how to mobilize a grassroots army to win elections. You go to afpvolunteer.com today and sign up with Americans for Prosperity. Around the country, they want to get you involved in the fight for freedom. afpvolunteer.com. Sign up with Americans for Prosperity today.
I'm Chris Chandler. When you join us Wednesday at 5 for Atlanta's Morning News, rain chances for the rest of the week and our 5-day forecast, and why Clark Howard says used clothes are a great deal on 95.5 WSB.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. An intense manhunt right now for a Rockdale County inmate who escaped from Grady Hospital.
We want to get him into custody. We want to get him off the street because he's a danger to everybody.
Lieutenant Billy Burrell with the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office says 52-year-old Timothy Shane has stolen at least 2 vehicles and a gun. He is considered armed and dangerous. Anyone with information on Shane should contact the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office. We have posted his photo at WSBradio.com. A man and woman are found dead in a home on Clearwater Place in Lawrenceville this afternoon. Gwinnett police are calling it a homicide. Investigators are on scene right now working to determine how they died. As cold weather moves back into the area, the city of Atlanta will open warming centers tonight. One is located at Central Park Recreation Center on Merritts Avenue. A second one will open at Old Adamsville Recreation Center on Delmar Lane. They will be open from 8 p.m. until 6 a.m. and transportation will be provided from the Gateway Center. Today is Giving Tuesday, but the FTC warns it's also a day for scammers to take advantage of people who think they're donating to a good cause. You can avoid getting ripped off by double-checking the charity's website. Most will end in .org, and at the bottom of the page it will say it is a registered nonprofit. The FTC says the safest way to donate is with a credit card or a check. If someone is asking you for cryptocurrency, wire transfer, or a gift card, it is probably a scam. It is 2:32, and this news is sponsored by FGA Roofing. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
The holidays are here, friends, so let my friends at Publix help you save money by shopping the buy one, get one deals every week. Hey, it's Mark Aaron back with you. BOGOs galore at your neighborhood Publix supermarkets. Check out the BOGO deals before you shop, by the way. Expert tip. You can find the weekly ad online at Publix.com or in the Publix app. My favorite experience at Publix are the BOGOs. Free item must be of equal or lesser value, of course. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning is bringing the gift of clean this season with our holiday sale. Schedule today and get carpet cleanings at just $40 per room. Plus, when you schedule 3 rooms or more, add a flight of stairs for just $1. Using our non-toxic ZR water, Zerorez cleans better than soaps and leaves 0 residue behind. Hurry, appointments are filling fast, so mention WSB Radio to get your cleaning at just $40 per room. Schedule online at ZerorezAtlanta.com.
Hey guys, are you striking out in the bedroom? Because pills like Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra just don't work anymore. Here's how Choice Men's Health is solving PE and ED issues. Meet Dr. Katz, the expert in men's health.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health.
Choice Men's Health offers safe, custom-blended medications designed to fit your needs. There is no pain or surgery. It doesn't matter how old you are or if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues. Not a problem. It's safe and affordable for everyone. You'll see results in 15 minutes guaranteed, or you don't pay anything. Solve the problem of ED and PE now.
For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are free. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170 to claim your initial consultation and first treatment for free. Call Choice Men's Health now, 404-400-1170.
Hey, this is Mark Aaron for Rocco's European Garage, where I've been taking my car for service and repair for years. If you own a Benz, Beamer, Porsche, or Audi and want your vehicle serviced right, quickly, and for good value, go to Rocco's European Garage. Their certified techs will pamper your vehicle like it's their own, and their work won't void your car's warranty. Pricing better value than the dealership, and they won't try to oversell you on what your car needs. Take your car to one of the 6 convenient locations or online, roccoseuropeangarage.com.
At 2:34, Alex Williams in the traffic center.
Hey, Bill, got a travel advisory in DeKalb County. Crash in 2 left lanes, 285 northbound, the outer loop at I-20, exit 46. Use I-20 eastbound as an alternate. Heading up into Norcross, crash in the 2nd left lane, 85 northbound before Jimmy Carter Boulevard, exit 99. And a crash still on the right shoulder heading up into Midtown, 75-85 north before 10th Street. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Cloudy, breezy, drizzly today with a high of 48. Will dry out for tonight, lows dipping down to near freezing. Tomorrow, a little bit more sunshine with a high of 51, becoming mostly cloudy again on Thursday, high 49.
Right now, 49 in Conyers, 46 in Douglasville, 49 in Hampton. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. 877-973-7425 is the phone number should you wish to be on the program. I got to put this story on your radar from the Washington Free Beacon because this is happening more and more here. This is about how the left is essentially engaging with judges to shape the climate change debate. This is from Thomas Kenanachi. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, Thomas, at the Washington Free Beacon. The New Venture Fund, a behemoth left-wing dark money charity, wired $2.3 million last year to the law firm that dozens of Democratic prosecutors have contracted to spearhead high-stakes climate litigation against oil companies, according to its latest tax filings. At the same time, it bankrolled a group that advises judges on how to handle those cases. The New Venture Fund's support for the San Francisco-based Sher Edling isn't new. In fact, it has funneled nearly $11 million to the firm through a nondescript fund it has fiscally sponsored since 2021. In its latest tax filings, however, the New Venture Fund also reported donating $1.3 million to the Environmental Law Institute. The Environmental Law Institute is a Washington, D.C.-based legal nonprofit that trains judges on how to handle the very types of litigation Sher Edling is pursuing on behalf of Democratic states and cities. It's the first time the New Venture Fund has contributed to the Environmental Law Institute, and it signals the latest escalation in the fund's efforts to target the oil industry through the judicial system. It raises ethics questions about whether the fund is attempting to stack the deck by funding both the lawyers leading the cases, which are aimed at bankrupting the oil companies, and training that could sway judges to side with those lawyers. Since its founding in 2016, Sher Edling has received more than $16 million from the New Venture Fund-sponsored fund and has simultaneously taken up lawsuits against the oil industry on behalf of at least 9 Democrat-run states and more than a dozen Democrat-run cities, which are collectively home to a quarter of the U.S. population. The lawsuits accuse oil companies of causing global warming, deceiving the public about the harms of fossil fuels, and therefore bearing responsibility for damages stemming from extreme weather events. Sher Edling filed one such lawsuit on behalf of the city and county of Honolulu, Hawaii in 2020 in an attempt to force Sunoco ExxonMobil, Shell, Chevron, and BP, among others, to pay for the cost of damages stemming from coastal erosion, tropical storms, and flooding in the state. In late 2023, Hawaii's highest court handed Cher Edling a significant victory in the case, with Hawaii Supreme Court Chief Justice Mark Rechtenwald ruling the case may proceed and that the court would not unduly limit Hawaii's ability to use its police powers to protect its citizens. As the case pended before the High Court months earlier, though, Rechtenwald participated in an Environmental Law Institute seminar and presented a course titled Rising Seas and Litigation, What Judges Need to Know About Warming-Driven Sea Level Rise. Rechtenwald participated in a separate Environmental Law Institute seminar related to climate litigation in 2022. It remains unclear whether other judges who have presided over Cher Edling's cases have participated in the ELI. The group doesn't disclose the names of participants and is tight-lipped about its activities. But the Institute states on its website that more than 2,000 judges have participated in its events and training. The group recently scrubbed the names of judges who it has worked with and who have heaped praise on it from its website. I am welcomely absorbing everything that has been brought to us and look forward to carrying that forward and paying it forward, Indiana State Appellate Court Judge Sham Shiel wrote in a now-deleted testimonial. The deletions come after a Fox News report in July revealed an online forum that ELI created for judges to communicate about issues related to climate litigation. Participating judges used the forum to discuss the latest climate studies, state court cases, and upcoming environmental cases. The Institute removed the forum in August. So let me step back from the article at the Free Beacon, which you can get the show notes, and say this. You have a left-wing group funding climate activist lawsuits on one side, and the same left-wing group funding the education of judges in how to interpret laws related to climate suits on the other side. So they're funding the prosecutors of cases and also skewing the education of the judges in those cases. This is how the left is proceeding. And what are they doing? They're suing oil companies, trying to drive up the cost of doing business at a time the Trump administration is trying to lower costs. Here's the reality. We aren't getting rid of fossil fuels. You can't get rid of fossil fuels. How are you going to keep your F-35 in the air? Seriously, how are you going to keep an F-35 in the air? That's an airplane. How are you going to keep a 767, Boeing 767 commercial jetliner in the air? Batteries? You know how much the lithium-ion batteries would have to weigh in a plane to get it across the Atlantic? You're not building a plane that can do that. What about the tank for war? What about the tractors and the combines in the field? And the plastics? And the fossil fuels that go into certain clothing, synthetic fibers? You're not getting rid of fossil fuels. The left is trying to drive up our costs, though, to make it more difficult for the poor. The rich will be fine. You know, there's this weird dichotomy happening in the economy right now. In fact, there's a lot of economic data out there that suggests the economy really is breaking apart between the wealthy and the poor. Mom and pop business bankruptcies have hit a record high as debt rises. A 6-year-old federal program, according to Bloomberg, designed to help the smallest American businesses cut debt and get a fresh start, has set a record for the number of cases filed. More than 2,000 people in small firms filed bankruptcy this year under the so-called Subchapter 5 rules, which make it cheaper and faster to win relief from creditors. Creditors are just breathing down their necks, said Carol Fox, a court-approved trustee who oversees more than 24 cases filed in southern Florida. High borrowing costs, cautious consumers, and the Trump administration's trade war are weighing on earnings for the smallest businesses, while owners' optimisms fell to a 6-month low in October. The number of Subchapter 5 cases is rising faster than the overall rate of Chapter 11 bankruptcies, which businesses and wealthy individuals typically use to restructure their debts. People are defaulting on loans, acquiring credit card debt at alarming rates. The economy seems broken. You go out to Las Vegas, the high-end casinos are doing well. The wealthy are spending money in Las Vegas. It's the middle class that used to enjoy a family trip out to Las Vegas. You don't find anymore because it's $50 for a steak plus a mandatory 20% gratuity, a 20% serving fee, a 10% tax, and all this other stuff. It should go bankrupt. Disney is struggling with tourists right now down in Florida, which is cheaper than Las Vegas, and still Disney's having trouble acquiring people to come to their parks. I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day. They went down there and were shocked that it wasn't nearly as crowded as it had been just a couple of years ago. And progressives are driving up the cost of energy with these lawsuits, trying to destroy the oil companies and trying to end fossil fuel production that can't end. It is impossible to get rid of fossil fuels. You're not going to do it. The world is too dependent on fossil fuels. And, you know, they moved the goalposts on this because for the longest time they said they want to end it, they wanted to get rid of it, and now they're like, well, we're not really going to get rid of it, we just want to reduce it by driving up the costs. And who pays the burden on the costs? You do. And if you're not wealthy, your costs go up even more. It translates into higher costs of food because the transportation costs, because of the fuel costs. Not just to get the cow to the butcher, but then to get the processed meat to the grocery store. All those fuel costs go up. It's why Donald Trump is so committed to lowering fuel costs. It's really freaking out the leftists that he wants to expand oil drilling as rapidly as possible off the coast of California and the Carolinas and elsewhere. We got a lot of oil out there. We got more oil than Saudi Arabia's got at this point, and we haven't been drilling for it, and we should, and bring down those costs. The left doesn't like it. So now they're essentially conspiring with both judges and lawyers to attack oil companies, to make them pay for climate catastrophes that are naturally occurring weather events that they just don't like. And you're going to foot the bill ultimately with what you buy. They want to wreck the economy because they believe it's worth it. Glenn, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? So, you okay?
Yep.
I go to McDonald's and I buy a cheeseburger. It's wrapped in paper. I take the paper, I wrap it up, and I throw it out the window, and I litter. Now, McDonald's, so McDonald's, which sold me the cheeseburger, and the company that sold them the paper, they're not responsible for me doing the littering. So the oil companies are producing the oil, but they're not actually burning it and creating carbon. It's the attorneys, the judges, and everybody else that's burning the oil that's creating pollution. So it seems like they're suing the wrong people.
They should. They absolutely should. And, you know, when I go outside and I get my beautiful SUV with my giant engine and I just turn it on for the sake of turning it on because I can and I can afford to fill it up, maybe they should come after me. You know, on the day that they make us all turn off our lights to save the planet and I turn on every single light in my house just to spite them. I mean, yeah, all the oil companies are doing is producing the oil and you know, I mean, they're taking advantage of it as well. Their plastics and their polyester and everything else they're wearing. They take advantage of it, but they don't. They're just looking for deep pockets, and that's the problem. Is they can't sue you, me, and each other, so they're coming after the deepest pockets they can find, which are the oil companies, and they're trying to vilify the oil companies, and the oil companies are what's making this country great again. Side note, little bias. My dad worked for an oil company. I think oil is good. I think fossil fuels are good, and I think oil companies are great. I don't own any stock in any, but I'm thinking about investing in some when the prices come down, because I'm just keeping my money on the sidelines right now. I'm not Warren Buffett. I'm not a genius like Warren Buffett, but the markets just seem so unstable right now. I was talking to one of my financial guys the other day and said, you know, I got like $8,000 in an account and you put it in a money market, I think, but I don't know if it's investable right now. He's like, I'm not investing in anything right now because I think everything is overvalued and we're due for a correction. Like, well, I'm glad you said that because I think so too. I just think that these environmentalists are the greatest villains we've had. Think about this. Thanos was an environmentalist. He wanted to cull the population. So I think Sonny Bunch made this point. He works over the What the Bulwark now, he was at the Free Beacon for a while when he made this point. Maybe he made it in a Washington Post op-ed that environmentalists make for great supervillains. Thanos wanted to reduce the population to save the universe, so he snapped his finger and cut the population in half. Universal genocide. What's his the brother in Aquaman? He wanted to kill all the people for polluting the planet. He was the bad guy. All these environmentalist wacko bad guys. And what was it? The Kingsman, Samuel L. Jackson, wanted to wipe out the population to save the planet. All these environmentalists are the bad guys. They don't even know it. You know, Hitler did not get up in the morning, look in the mirror and say, how can I be evil today? He thought he was saving his people. The environmentalists are the same way. They get up in the morning, they brush up the little swastika, they look in the mirror, and they say, how can I save the planet by destroying humanity? That's what they do. Environmentalists are the bad guys. Now, if you're a good steward of the planet, I think you got to be a good steward of the planet. What did God say to Adam and Eve? To take care of the planet. We got to take care of the planet. It's Christianity 101. You find your entire worldview in Genesis 1. You got to be fruitful and multiply and tend to the planet. Don't destroy the planet. But you're not going to destroy the planet. But the environmentalists, they want to wipe us out. They want to destroy us because they want a utopia, and utopia exists only in the absence of people, and they're trying to drive up your costs. They're trying to punish the poor. They're trying to do all these things. It's like the nanny staters who want to put every safety feature possible in a car, so you can't afford a car, therefore you can't burn a fossil fuel. And they're targeting the oil companies as well. I say we need more oil. The president is right on that. And frankly, his administration should move to investigate these left-wing ninnies who are out there trying to collaborate with judges to persecute, not just prosecute, the oil companies that are actually making America great again.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
250 Coolray Carrier Traffic Center. Looking for new trouble. 75 is the south between Kennesaw and Marietta, between 575 and Highway 5. I see traffic at a standstill right now. Hopefully this is just temporary. We will see what's going on there. Crash cleared, all lanes open. 85 northbound at Jimmy Carter Boulevard and 285 north at I-20 in DeKalb. Traffic brought to you by O'Keefe's Working Hands Hand Cream. Cold weather wearing on your hands? Try O'Keefe's Working Hands. You'll see visible results in one use and guaranteed relief for dry, cracked hands. O'Keefe's Working Hands, America's #1 hand cream. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
The way you should live your life is look at the way they're doing it at D.C. and then just run.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
Other people are getting away with it, so you should get away with it.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
Well, your best day ever would have been a Tuesday. Who knows?
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey friends, if you drive a Mercedes, BMW, Land Rover, or any European import, I highly recommend Rocco's European Garage. You'll get better value than the dealership with honest and all-in pricing. This is Mark Aram. I want you to check out Rocco's European Garage.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Spend your time with those who matter most this holiday season and sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There's no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our guaranteed offer is the strongest in the industry. You can sell your home stress-free, make the most money, and move when you're ready with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Find out what your guaranteed offer would be on your home. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
At Shane Company, there's no shortcuts, just craftsmanship.
Because a friend wants your fine jewelry and dream engagement ring to be nothing short of perfect, no matter the price. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Serving my country required sacrifice that changed my life forever. I remember the day I came home. Because of my injuries, this house wasn't right for me anymore. I remember the narrow doorways, the small bathrooms, the shelves out of reach when in my wheelchair. Every day was full of obstacles. I felt trapped. I remember a better day, the day my family received a specially adapted custom home from Homes for Our Troops. That day changed everything. Now we have a safe and accessible home to enjoy the freedom I fought for. This place, our home, is exactly what we needed to rebuild our lives.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Just joined us? No worries. Check out the Eric Erickson Show 24/7 stream at ericerickson.com. Available for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
My buddy Dan Mandis just texted Charlie and said that turnout looks strong in Tennessee 7, which should be good for the Republicans there. I don't expect the Republicans to lose it. I'm just interested to see how close it is. One way or the other, it's going to define next year's elections. Matt Van Epps' strategy of not mentioning Donald Trump is probably going to get picked up by a lot of the GOP. Let's go to the phones. Truett, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show. Truett?
Hey, yeah.
Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, so I understand how a glut of oil brings the prices down, but I was telling Philip that I was in North Dakota in 2014 when the price per barrel kind of tanked, and so what happened then was when the price started falling, we're on a global market with oil, and when the price started falling, OPEC kept their production up with the thought of if we can drive these prices down, it'll put the U.S. oil market out of business. And it didn't put them out of business, but it sure put a hurting on them. When I left up there into 14, there was drilling rigs stacked out everywhere because it was costing more to get it out of the ground than it was worth.
Yeah.
And, wages went down. We weren't near as busy as we were. I talked to some guys after I come home a couple of months later that were still up there, and they said, "Oh yeah, we done took a 10% pay cut, and we're not getting near the hours we were, 6 months ago."
Yeah.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Oh, and they're willing to weaponize it against us, too. The Saudis are. And so you got to be careful with the economics of it. You make a really good point. My dad was in that industry for years. We wound up moving overseas where he was a production foreman in the Gulf of went from the Gulf of Mexico to the Persian Gulf. And the economics in oil, if it gets too low, you got all these guys making certain wages. They either got to take pay cuts or they got to be laid off. And Saudi Arabia tried to cost us our energy industry. They want us dependent on them, and Trump doesn't want to be dependent on anybody when it comes to oil, which I think is a good thing, what a very commendable trait of his, to not be dependent on this sort of stuff. But the economics of it, you got to be careful. You are playing with a global economy when it comes to oil. Speaking of the economy, there's a great class on it and capitalism from Hillsdale College. If you go to ericforhillsdale.com, you can sign up for it, ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. You sign up with Hillsdale College today, and you start improving your mind. They've got multiple classes, 40 different topics to choose from, ranging from economics and math to chemistry and the hard sciences to philosophy, political science, history, literature, even some theology thrown in. You go to ericforhillsdale.com. There is no penny, folks. You do not pay a penny for this. You go to ericforhillsdale.com and you sign up with Hillsdale College, and they just start making you smarter. And they do a really good job. It's education. It's not indoctrination. ericforhillsdale.com. Sign up with Hillsdale College today. Start improving your mind. Start learning more deeply about a topic you want. Every class, 30-minute lectures, videos. You do it at your own pace. ericforhillsdale.com. Sign up with Hillsdale College today, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
More local news.
Newton County authorities crediting the Georgia State Patrol ground stop at the airport. Meanwhile,
More traffic.
One crash on I-20 westbound.
More weather.
The tornado threat has appeared to come to an end for Henry County.
Atlanta's morning news.
Tomorrow morning at 5.
this is a complicated, controversial subject.
Wake up with 95.5 WSB.
How Atlanta starts its day. WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
I've talked to you for a long time about how dangerous it is to use Zelle tied into your checking account because there's no reasonable, meaningful protections for you as a consumer, and the money can just vanish from your checking account because Zelle is embedded in it. That's why I call it Big Bad Zelle. And I want to add something to this. Chase Bank has said that they have discovered, based on their research, that half of all money that vanishes where you get scammed out of money through Zelle out of your checking account is where people get conned on social media. And I also got a mailing from Charles Schwab telling me that the number one way people are getting scammed out of their brokerage account at Schwab is where they get conned by someone on social media. Beware of this. I'm Clark Howard.
News, weather,
Traffic.
95.5 WSB. Atlanta's news and talk.
At 3 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. A metro-wide manhunt continues this hour for a Rockdale County inmate who's been on the run for 2 days now.
52-year-old Timothy Shane has a history of escapes, and he has proven to be elusive.